In Radio, your station for up-to-the-minute news, intelligent, interactive, and engaging conversation. 96.9 FM. The views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the position of the management and staff of Guardian Network.
Good morning. Unions at BPL say stop the deal. They're urging the government against any deal with foreigners. Meanwhile, the government's silent on BPL board resignation reports and the F&M demanding answers on everything to do with BPL. It's all straight ahead this morning. I'm Dwight Strachan, and this is Morning Blend.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. It's the start of a new way. You know that it's here. It's the start of the end of the old way. Revolution. Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
Good morning again, Bahamas. It is Monday, March 4th, 2024. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Again, I'm Dwight Strachan. In a moment, Deandra Cartwright will be joining us. Also this morning, it is World Obesity Day. We're talking about obesity in the Bahamas. And later in business, we're talking about Pop's Island Move, a special event coming up in just a few days. We'll get all the details about that. That's all straight ahead. But first, it's time for The Overnight, the latest breaking news from while we're sleeping, and the international headlines. In the overnight, the Davis administration is facing increased pushback from BPL, Bahamas Power and Lights unions, over a deal it intends to strike to reportedly outsource the transmission, distribution, and generation systems at the publicly owned utility, with more questions in the public domain on the planned arrangement than there are answers. After meeting with Prime Minister Philip Davis on Saturday and receiving assurances that there will be no layoffs and that all union contracts will be honored, BEWU, Bahamas Electrical Workers Union President Kyle Wilson, wrote Davis urging him to stop the deal the government plans reportedly with foreign entities. Meanwhile, the Electrical Utility Managerial Union President Christopher Hanna, who was also in the meeting with the Prime Minister, told the NASA Guardian yesterday that as they still have not seen anything in writing, they have no guarantees about anything. Hanna says he will go back to his members and update them on the meeting before speaking to a hard and fast position, but he indicated that he still does not feel good of the way forward for BPL and the workers. Now, details on the deal have still not been made public, creating significant anxieties for BPL workers. At a press conference yesterday, the F&M calling for answers on the matter. F&M leader Michael Pintard saying, quote, "We understand that the generation of power BPL has been awarded to one company, a company that is known to this administration very well, and some would go as far as to say is headed by an ardent supporter of the Progressive Liberal Party. The second part of the operation of BPL is transmission and distribution, and the government has been in talks with another company in terms of them taking over that particular dimension." Well, Minister of Energy and Transport JoBeth Colby Davis, who has for days been unreachable to the media, saying in a social media post yesterday that BPL will remain a government-owned entity and pledged to share more information in the coming weeks and days. And in a statement yesterday, Prime Minister Davis saying that he was glad to meet with the union leaders as the government works to bring much-needed change to the energy sector. He said there will be no layoffs of workers at BPL, and industrial agreements will continue to be honored, and that commitments made to workers, including pension benefits, will be met. The union leaders are, meanwhile, demanding transparency. On Friday night, BPL workers packed the BC POU Hall on Farrington Road to hear from union leaders. As members file out, some of them expressed worries about their future and about their families. Meanwhile, the government has, over the last several days, remained silent on reports that two members of the board at BPL resigned in the middle of the Davis administration's push to transform BPL through a deal with private entities. A question on the matter sent to the government communications arm last Thursday has to date gone unanswered, and Energy Minister JoBeth Colby Davis has been unreachable, as has BPL Chairman Pedro Roll. The Guardian did confirm yesterday that Dirk Simmons, a certified public accountant who was on the board, resigned recently, but the National Guardian was told his resignation was for personal reasons. The timing of the resignation attracted speculation that there was pushback to the deal the government is entering into to split up the generation and transmission and distribution of BPL's supply. In other news, police charging the man who they say killed a man at a nightclub in Harbor Island. Prosecutors say Antonio Neely of Harbor Island is responsible for the February 26th murder of Delandre Demerit, who was on bail awaiting a retrial for murder and attempted murder that took place in 2015. Demerit's murder was captured on the club's surveillance cameras, and footage of the incident has gone viral. Neely didn't have to enter a plea to the murder charge when he made his first court appearance before Assistant Chief Magistrate Carolyn Vogt Evans. The matter was adjourned to July 3rd for the presentation of a voluntary bill of indictment. Meanwhile, two accused killers denied murder and attempted murder charges when they were arraigned in the Supreme Court Friday. Samuel Charles, otherwise known as Man Boy, pleaded not guilty to the murder of Jermaine Hepburn and the attempted murders of David Burrows and Lorenzo Payne when he appeared before Chief Magistrate Sir Ian Winder. The charges stem from a June 17, 2023 shooting at a liquor store on Wolf Road. Charles, who's in custody, will next appear before Justice Franklin Williams KC on March 12th for a fixture hearing. And Delano Kelly denied involvement in the September 7th, 2023 drive-by shooting that killed Seth Strawn and injured Vantonio Cambridge and Shavanda Sims. The victims were standing in front of a sports bar on Comfort and Hay Streets when they were shot. Winder assigned Kelly's case to Justice Neil Brathwaite. Kelly, who was on remand, will appear before Brathwaite on March 11th. A 53-year-old man accused of sex crimes against a teenage boy was remanded to prison. Robert Ayton appeared before Assistant Chief Magistrate Carolyn Vogt Evans on Friday, charged with indecent assault and unlawful sexual intercourse with a minor of the same sex. Prosecutors alleged that Ayton indecently assaulted a 15-year-old boy in October 2019. He allegedly had sex with the minor in June of 2020. Ayton won't be required to enter pleas to the charges until his matter is transferred to the Supreme Court. That's expected to happen on June 6th with the presentation of a voluntary bill of indictment. Ayton remanded to prison since the magistrate lacks jurisdiction to consider bail for the offenses. However, he can apply for bail in the Supreme Court. And the Royal Bahamas Defense Force has mobilized to create a blockade in the southern Bahamas after reports that hundreds of inmates at a prison in Port-au-Prince escaped over the weekend. Defense Force Commodore Raymond King confirming this yesterday. Armed gangs reportedly stormed the prison on Saturday, leading to a jailbreak. The gang stormed Haiti's capital, firing a gun near the airport, causing airlines to cancel flights to the country. The gangs overtook a police station as well. King saying that they're taking steps to blockade the southeastern Bahamas using aerial and multiple surface assets. He says they intend to do this in tandem with regional partners OPBAC, the United States Coast Guard, and the Cuban Border Patrol through information and intelligence sharing. Overseas, more on Haiti. Authorities have ordered a nighttime curfew in an attempt to regain control of Haiti's streets after an explosion of violence over the weekend. including gunmen from gangs overrunning the country's two biggest prisons and freeing their inmates. A 72-hour state of emergency began Sunday night, and the government said it would set out to find the killers, kidnappers, and other violent criminals that it reported escaped from the prison. A statement from the finance minister, who's serving as the acting prime minister, saying that the police were ordered to use all legal means at their disposal to enforce the curfew and apprehend all offenders. Prime Minister Ariel Henry traveling abroad last week to try to salvage support for bringing a United Nations-backed security force to help stabilize Haiti in its conflict with increasingly powerful crime groups. The emergency decree was issued after a deadly weekend that marked a new low in Haiti's downward spiral of violence. At least 9 people had been killed since Thursday, 4 of them police officers, as gangs stepped up coordinated attacks on state institutions in Port-au-Prince, including the country's international airport and the National Soccer Stadium. But the attack on the National Penitentiary late Saturday was a big shock for Haitians, even though they are accustomed to living under constant threat of violence. Almost all of the estimated 4,000 inmates escaped, leaving the normally overcrowded prison eerily empty Sunday, with no guards in sight and plastic sandals, clothing, and furniture strewn across the concrete patio. 3 bodies with gunshot wounds lay at the prison entrance. In another neighborhood, the bloody corpses of 2 men with their hands tied behind their backs lay face down as residents walked past roadblocks set up with burning tires. Among the few dozen that chose to stay in the prison are 18 former Colombian soldiers accused of working as mercenaries in the July 2021 assassination of Haitian President Jovenel Moïse. Amid the fighting Saturday night, several of the Colombians shared a video pleading for their lives. In sports, some great news. Bahamian Devon Charlton had the indoor season of her life, culminating with another world record and a gold medal at the 2024 World Athletics Indoors Championships in Glasgow, Scotland. Charlton running 7.65 seconds to break her own world record of 7.67 that she set in New York last month, and which was tied by American Tia Jones a few days later. She's now the world indoor champion, the sole world record holder, and the winner of the World Indoor Tour title this season. The stunning time is also a new championship record and gives Charlton, who is now 28, her first global gold medal in track and field. Read all about it in today's Guardian Sports section. And congratulations to Devon Charlton. For the second time in Bahamian tennis history, the Bahamas has won the Junior Davis Cup portion of the North, Central American, and the Caribbean pre-qualifying tournament. This year's tournament wrapped up Friday in Santo Domingo. The Bahamas' Junior Billie Jean King Cup team also played in that tournament and finished 4th out of 13 countries. Last time the Bahamas won the tournament was in 2011. Details in today's Guardian Sports section. And the C.R. Walker Knights and the C.V. Bethel Stingrays traded the lead at the end of the first 2 days of competition for the GSSA Track and Field Championships last week. But on the final day, it was the Knights who emerged victorious, lifting their 7th consecutive title in the senior division. Coming into the final day with a 16-point lead over the Stingrays, the Knights were able to hold on and win the meet at the Thomas A. Robinson Track and Field Stadium by 31 points. They scored 567, while the Stingrays finished with 536. The R.M. Bailey Pacers finished 3rd with 369 points. From college basketball, NCAA, Caitlin Clark standing alone at the free throw line on Sunday and made the foul shots that put her atop the all-time NCAA Division I scoring chart. The flash and pizzazz of her game have made her the biggest name in all of college basketball, Yet it was 2 free throws and a technical foul that pushed Clark past the late Pete Maravich's 54-year-old record in number 6 Iowa's 93-83 win over number 2 Ohio State. Clark entered the game in Ohio City, needing 18 points to pass Maravich's total of 3,667, amassed in just 83 games over 3 seasons at LSU in 1967-70. She finished with 35 to run her total of 3,685 in 130 games. Maravich's mark fell 4 days after Clark broke Lynette Woodard's major college women's record when she scored 33 against Minnesota on Wednesday. And already struggling to keep its Chinatown bar afloat, one resident in Washington is feeling an impending sense of doom, learning that the owner of the Washington Capitals and Wizards wanted to move the teams out of the neighborhood and into Northern Virginia. The departure of the teams from their home at Capital One Arena, quote, would completely pull the plug on Chinatown, an area that has already been hit hard by a post-pandemic decline in the number of downtown office workers and a sharp increase in violent crime in the district. The fate of the 2 vulnerable neighborhoods now hangs in the balance during what could be several more months of political wrangling. An announcement about a tentative agreement with Virginia has touched off a flurry of public maneuvers, lobbying, and negotiations via press conference. The deal, according to preliminary numbers, would cost $2 billion, with about $1.5 billion of that coming in the form of bonds that would be repaid by a mix of tax revenue from the stadium and surrounding complex, lease payments, and other sources. Washington's mayor, caught by surprise by the Virginia deal, has responded with a slightly dissonant 2-track strategy, convening a high-level task force to develop plans for reimagining of the Chinatown district in the absence of the arena, but also scrambling to put together a $500 million offer to renovate Capital One, and not so quietly hoping the Virginia deal falls apart. That's sports, and that's the overnight. Time for your first look at weather. Your first good weather for today, we've got surface to mid-level troughing across the northwest Bahamas combined with available moisture. That's going to support shower and thunderstorm activity across the northwestern islands and portions of the central Bahamas, while a ridge of high pressure extending from the Atlantic across the area will maintain moderate to fresh breezes across the country today. We've got some special warnings. We've got boaters being advised to exercise caution in Atlantic waters due to moderate northeast to easterly swells. There's also a threat for waterspouts or funnel cloud activity and a few isolated strong thunderstorms. Beachgoers should also exercise caution due to rough surf and the moderate risk of rip currents, mainly along East Coast beaches and along Atlantic exposures. Here's your forecast for today for the northwest and central Bahamas. Partly cloudy, warm and humid with scattered showers and isolated thunderstorms through tonight. Smokecraft caution is in effect for nearshore waters, while an advisory is in effect for Atlantic exposures. Winds southeasterly at 10 to 15 knots and gusty at times in showers and thunderstorms. Seas 2 to 4 feet locally, but building up to 6 to 8 feet in open waters and along Atlantic exposures. For the southeast Bahamas today, variable cloudiness, warm and breezy conditions expected with a chance of a few isolated showers. Mostly fair tonight with isolated showers possible. Smallcraft caution is in effect for nearshore waters with an advisory in effect for Atlantic exposures. Winds east to southeast at 15 to 20 knots and gusty at times. sees 4 to 6 feet near shore and in sheltered areas, but building up to 6 to 8 feet in open waters and in long Atlantic exposures. Temperature-wise, today we're looking at highs getting up to around 80 Fahrenheit, 27 Celsius. Overnight lows tonight getting down to about 69 Fahrenheit, 20 Celsius. That's your first look at weather this morning. We'll have your extended outlook coming up after traffic in just a bit. You're listening to Morning Blend. When we come back, we're discussing the day's top stories right here on your home for fresh news and smart talk all day. Guardian Radio 96.9.
Life is unpredictable, so when the unexpected pops up and you need cash fast, you can handle it in easy-to-manage bite-sized payments with a cash advance from Scotia Select Pay. With Scotia Select Pay, you can take a lower-interest cash advance on your Scotia credit card in 3, 6, 9, or 12 monthly bite-sized payments. When the unforeseen strikes, trust a cash advance from Scotia Select Pay, the new, easy, and useful way to get cash now and pay later in convenient bite-sized payments that won't break your budget. Try it now on the Scotia mobile app or via Scotia online.
Jump, baby girl, cable guy is here.
Since the very beginning, you have been with us.
This is Paul Wave, and this is called the internet.
Okay.
Right, so
For over 2 decades, we've been with you every step of the way.
Weibo is total class. Look at her go. She's in front.
Hi, fellow me. I'm President.
So yeah, times may have changed, and so have your needs as our valued customers. But some connections stand the test of time. Red, we're with you.
Struggling to repay your loan? Let us help you get back on track with payment terms that suits your financial situation and improve your credit score and credit report with the Bahamas Credit Bureau. Inquire about our restructured loans today. Call us at 356-7764.
Around the world, Cleveland Clinic is recognized as a leader in healthcare. Our team of experts relentlessly pursues the best for our patients. From groundbreaking cancer research to state-of-the-art heart surgery, life-saving innovations happen here every day. When it's time to travel for your health, it's time to travel to Cleveland Clinic. Your destination for care. For every care in the world. To learn more, visit clevelandclinic.org/Caribbean.
Wherever you're headed, the Custom Computers Know-How team is standing by to help guide you in the East and the West. We now have 2 convenient locations on Patton Street in Palmdale and our newest store in the Caves Village Shopping Plaza through the Blake Road entrance. Discover the latest products by top international brands and the knowledge you need to unleash tomorrow's technology today. Drop by Custom Computers out east or out west. We're open Saturdays from 10 till 4.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. It's the start of a new way. You know that it's the start of the end of the old way. Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
Welcome back to Morning Blend here on Guardian Radio 96.9. We are streaming live on GuardianTalkRadio.com and on the Guardian Radio app for your smart devices. We're also on your televisions on Cable Bahamas Channel 969 and BTC Flow Channel 612. You can tweet us at MorningBlend969 or Facebook.com/MorningBlend969. Text us on the Guardian Radio text line powered by BTC 422-4796. Standard text rate supply. Once again, I'm Dwight Strachan. In a moment, Deandra Cartwright will be joining us. Also this morning, did you know today's World Obesity Day? We're going to be talking about obesity, especially here in the Bahamas. And a lot to talk about with our friends from Doctors Hospital about this morning. That's coming up, and then later we'll get some details about Pop's Island Move, a special event. Sounds really exciting. We're going to get details about that this morning. That's all ahead, but let's begin right now with what else is in the news. And in the news, we'll start off with the good news, the great news over the weekend. Devin Charlton really making history again. And now a world indoor champion, winning the gold medal in the 60-meter women's hurdles yesterday, and setting another world record, breaking her own world record. So this is just fantastic, having, as the Guardian Sports section says, having the season of her life. And running 7.65 seconds, breaking her own world record that she set last month of 7.67. So this is great stuff. Congratulations to Devin Charlton. And all the details about that in today's Guardian Sports section. So that is amazing. Got some texters reacting to the what's happening in Haiti. This story is just wild. Wild about the jailbreak. This is very scary and disturbing. And Haiti now ordering a 72-hour state of emergency and a nightly curfew, trying to restore some calm after an unprecedented weekend of violence. You heard that story we read earlier for you. All of the estimated 4,000 inmates escaped from the prison. My God. So as a result of this, the Defense Force stepping up efforts here. And everybody's greatly concerned about this, of course, and creating a blockade in the southern Bahamas. As you heard in the overnight, Defense Force Commodore Dr. Raymond King saying that now taking steps to blockade the southern Bahamas, the southeastern Bahamas, using aerial and multiple surface assets, and doing so in tandem with regional partners like OPBAT, the U.S. Coast Guard, and the Cuban Border Patrol. King saying, quote, "We are taking steps to fortify our position in the southeastern Bahamas to effectively blockade that area to prevent any forced migration coming from Haiti." King acknowledged that officials in the Bahamas are concerned that some of the escaped inmates or others may attempt to flee Haiti and head north. He said, quote, "That is what we are preparing to fend off. That is what we're preparing to fend off or intercept any known vessels leaving Haiti en route to the Bahamas." Wow. Yeah. All right. So we will definitely keep you posted on all of that, but just awful what's happening, and don't even know what else to say, right? But if you wish, you can text us 422-4796. You can tweet us at morningblood969, Facebook us, or even call in 323-6232, 325-4316. 325-4259, or call us toll free 242-300-5720. Okay, I don't know what you're asking, texters. Let's see what the callers have to say. Let's please try to be decent. And again, you can call in 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Morning, Dwight. How you doing?
Doing well.
Dwight, my summation in 200-300 years of patient was, to me, Dwight, there's nothing nobody could do with Haiti. There's nothing. Haiti has gone beyond where normal people would go, right? Now, I don't know if our government officials are thinking properly, but to blockade, right? Them Haitians stop using boats still why not, right? Them fellas coming in 3 and 4 flights a week. I don't know what they're talking about blockade. Either they deliberately doing these things or they just don't know. You understand?
What type of flights?
What do you mean what type of flight, right?
You mean?
The airport. Haitians coming in. We've been sounding the alarm with that from early last year. Hundreds of them coming in on flights at the airport. Okay. They don't use boats no more. So I don't know what Commodore King them talk what they talking about. Anyway, I just want to sound out of there. Thanks for taking my call.
All right. I mean, well, that's one thing, but I don't know if a prisoner will be able to do that easily. Okay, I hear you. Yeah, another texter says, a lot of these people will try to come by plane. How will they be able to check if they are criminals? I mean, you need to have some travel documents. You think prisoners, what, they're going to forge it? I mean, I guess that's possible, but okay. I hear you. I don't know if it'll be that easy for them. I don't know. Okay. Yeah, I knew this was going to go south. These text messages, texter, please save these text messages. Don't send them to us. This is you don't need to be. You really proud of yourself to use that kind of language? That really makes no sense. You're a dangerous person and you need help. You need help. You really do. Wow. Let's take this call. Good morning. You're on the air.
Hey, good morning, Dwight.
Hi.
Yeah, Dwight, man, please, man, let all of us advocate for the UN, what is greatly a part of Europe, right? The people would really benefiting from what's going on in Haiti. Let's advocate for them to come to try to see if they could put some quell to Haiti, man. Because us inside the Bahamas and around, what's going on in Haiti is beyond our pay grade. That's too much for us to deal with. We need bigger guns. When I say not literally, but we need bigger nations, right? What has the capability and the equipment to deal with a situation like that. Now, the gentleman just said, and he is factual. The plane, we have three flights coming out of Haiti, one private, 2 Bahamas, I think, every week, loaded with Haitians coming to the Bahamas. Where they going, nobody knows, right? But they come in with visas and passport in some instances, right? We were talking about this from last year, but it seems like people don't really want to accept the reality what face this country, right? We need serious people to run this country. The people that are running this country.
Hold on one second. So if they're coming with visas and passports and all this stuff, what do you want to do? You want there to be nobody from Haiti allowed to come to the country?
No. I love Haitians, man. I don't never want to see the Bahamas with no Haitians inside it. But here's what I don't want to see, Dwight. What I'm seeing now, the Bahamas is overwhelmed with Haitians everywhere you go. Everywhere you go. And it is impossible for all of these people to have status in a country where Bahamians can't find jobs. It's impossible. That's all I said, Dwight. Mm-hmm. Bahamians love Haitians, Jamaicans, and every nationality you could think of. We love them, but we just can't love everybody more than ourselves to the point that we are no longer in existence. That don't make no sense. Mm-hmm. We have to protect us. Everybody is protecting them. This ain't about hate. This is not about hate. This is about protecting the interests of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, Dwight.
All right, well, if that is the case, we'll hire Bahamians then. Tell the people who are hiring the folks who you say are getting jobs everywhere to hire people who are here legally and are allowed to work here.
Right, right. We have a big problem in this country, Dwight, right? And it ain't as simple as we said it on the... we have a big problem in this country, Dwight. You know, we have people who are ready to infiltrated our system to the point that they don't need to hire no Bahamians, you know, because they have enough of their own radio that they don't need to hire no Bahamians, you know, Dwight. You know, and that's the problem with the Bahamas is facing, you know, the Bahamas, the people with here that they don't need to hire no Bahamians. And if you go around, you will see this taking place. Well, Bahamians are not being hired in certain businesses in this country, right?
Okay, interesting.
Have a nice day.
Thank you very much. Wow. This text just says here, 4,000. That's a ridiculous amount of prisoners. We're going to get some of them for sure. Oh, boy. This one says here... Dwight, trust you had a great weekend. Hear me and hear me well, sir. Haiti will be the downfall of the Bahamas. They're too deep in the Bahamas. Trust me. And they do come on planes. Okay. Another one says here, I would say this calls for a civilian force. Sensible people, not hotheads. The only duty is to monitor the coastline and establish a 7-day-a-week or 24-hour watch. Not to engage. Some people trying to flee will be people with mothers, fathers, and children just like you and me. You don't want to persecute people for trying to save their lives, but we definitely don't want an influx of possibly violent prisoners. We have enough violent Bahamians to deal with. Yikes. Okay. What is the government going to do? Pick them up and detain them, turn them around, or sink the boats? What? Why did I read that? Oh, boy. Thank goodness for those drones. We're really benefiting from that $20 million investment, and they have sarcasm in quotation marks there. Well, okay. It's amazing that the U.S. cannot assist a failed state next door. Well, you're hearing everybody. I wanted to address that what the previous caller said as well, all right? So the UN is involved with this group that is supposed to be headed by Kenya, right, trying to appeal to countries to come forward. The UN doesn't have an army. They don't just, right? But they appeal to nations to come together to help. And that's what this was about. I don't know if anybody in Haiti wants the U.S. to get involved. They feel that the U.S. was a good contributor to many of the challenges they have today, along with France, of course. So that one's not going to be too much of an option either. This one says here, please tell these people that flights in and out of Haiti have been stopped. Oh, is that right? I don't know. Is that correct? You sure? I'm not sure about that one. Deandra Cartwright is joining us. Good morning, ma'am. Great to see you.
Good morning, Dwight. Always a pleasure to see you, too.
You walked in right at the hot moment. And we haven't even started talking about BPL yet. So
listen,
this is going to be quite a day.
I tuned in on the way here, and I'm like, oh, my gosh. Like,
4,000.
It's a lot.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot.
Everybody in the prison.
Stopping flights. I don't know, but if they're coming into the country, if anybody comes into the country, it has to be by some sort of official documentation.
Right. I don't know if the prisoners are going to be able to get that easily. Nothing authentic that cannot be disproved.
While lots of things can be forged.
Yes.
I'm not sure, with so many different checkpoints, the frequency of 3 flights, I think I heard, coming in every week, that means that all of those persons, they all have to have, or the majority of them have to have some sort of paperwork. So,
I mean, can you imagine you just come in here, you got no luggage or anything? Just like, you think anyone's going to just allow you to walk in? Even
you
here.
have to come on a two-way, right? A return ticket.
Right.
You have to have that.
So let's...
I might be wrong.
That one's not... I'm not saying it's not possible. It's highly unlikely.
No, but they said you can't. The flights have been stopped here. Let me check Bahamas Air right now. Let me see if I can catch me a flight.
Yeah. Yeah, you do that. This person says here, I heard that Florida stopped all flights to Haiti. Not sure if that's true. Okay, we're going to check into this. This one says here, no. Okay. Let's take some more calls, and we're going to want to move on because this is turning into something else. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Right.
Hi.
Morning again, and to your guest this time. Right, we got to take this thing serious.
Absolutely.
Like the caller after me said, right? Have you ever been through, your guest ever been through North Street?
Through what, sorry?
Have you ever been or your guest been through North Street?
Is that here in New Providence?
Exactly. You even didn't know where that is. So when we call and we tell you things that is very serious in this country, Dwight.
Where is that?
Don't dismiss it.
Where is
because
that?
I live through North Street.
That's right in the back of the Queen's
You
staircase.
even didn't know where that is.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
You understand? And right, let me tell you something. I hear you talking about the planes and your guests. Let me tell you something. Haiti is built up, you might as well call it what it is, of corruption. There was a time when one of the ministers now in government was in trouble for a lot of visas and stuff being signed in Haiti, over 2,000 visas. So don't brush these things off like be in trouble. And then when you and your guests or whoever out there think how long it's gonna be before we end up similar with a snippet of Haiti with riots and all of this stuff and things like that. They ain't gonna cross from Haiti to come to the Bahamas to then turn around to be positive. We gonna get there. We gotta take this thing serious and we gotta nip this thing. We have to nip it. And I hope one of your texts is correct that the flights have been stopped because Florida, all the flights into Haiti have been stopped from day one. So if we still flying, then something is definitely wrong with us. Thanks for taking my call.
All right. So maybe with Port-au-Prince, with the airport, because they're having issues at the airport, but I don't know about other cities.
Oh, no, there are flights going into Cap Haitien International Airport.
So it's Port-au-Prince where the flights have been stopped because the airport was attacked. All right. Let's take one more call, and then I do want to move on. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Good morning, guys. How are you all this morning?
Doing well.
Some of these callers got to be truly realistic, Listen, Haiti has millions of people, right? That doesn't mean that you're trying to tell me 100,000 people don't have a visa to come to the Bahamas. Come on, they have to be realistic. You can't stop persons if they come in legally the right way, just like any other country in the world. But now, there are these same callers who constantly call and complain. When the Prime Minister is trying to work with CARICOM Nation to stop something like this from happening, what's happening now in Haiti, they're complaining about that, say the Prime Minister needs to stay home and deal with the Bahamas, don't worry about Haiti. Now Haiti has a major problem, now they're still complaining. Come on, man. Damn if you don't, damn if you do. Listen, right now, the immigration problem in Abaco is being dealt with, right? And they still are complaining that now where these people are going to go. They got to first remember those persons who came in here employed by persons. Those persons are responsible for finding housing for those persons. Am I correct, Dwight?
Supposed to be. Mm-hmm.
Yes, but I'm saying to you, all we have to do now with situations like that is tighten up on our immigration laws as far as those persons who are supposed to house these persons. If they're not finding housing for these persons, send those persons back home and charge the persons that are responsible for the persons. Okay? But listen, like I say, Dwight, no matter what the government do, there is a complaint. So I encourage the government to just continue to do what you're doing and make sure to do it to the benefit of the Bahamian people. Have a nice day, man.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. Yeah. Okay. Let's do this. Let's take this call. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Hey, good morning to both of you, Dwight.
Hi.
Morning.
Yeah, man. A friend and I, we were about to book a flight because we want to go into DR to do some research of the tobacco. And we had planned to go, I showed him the itinerary to go from here to Haiti and then over the mountains to DR. Boy, he said, you crazy. But anyway, the flight was, I was about to book it. But anyway, Dwight, I don't want to talk about that. I just want to share something with you, man. I see something positive going on in our educational system at DR. I mean Doris Rogers School.
Doris Johnson. Doris Johnson.
Yeah, Doris Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
They have this thing called group projects where you have a group of kids have to go home and research, and they collaborate together and put together a wonderful project. I know about this because I assisted a little girl with this. Now, I think that's a wonderful thing that they're doing because it's causing kids to come together to work toward a common goal. So the weaker ones are being helped by the stronger ones. So, when we come to the point in our society where my continuum is determined by how well I preserve yours, I think we could go a long way in solving this problem we're having, this diversification where we are mad at each other, because now they have to come together. So encourage the educational people to to do more of this collaborative work in the senior school, junior schools, go right down to the primary school, so kids could know one another early, help them with their weaknesses. I think we need to work on that, Dwight.
Sounds great. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Wow. Okay, let's read a couple of these messages before we move on. This person says here, what happened to the UN peacekeeping force that used to wear the blue helmets? You said it, peacekeeping, right? They have military equipment and troops. This shows how useless the UN is. And they're not an army, though. Not an army. And peacekeeping.
Peacekeeping is different than deploying an actual army.
Also, people are so love to be distracted by the Haitian issue, but do they realize the fight in Haiti is against the government? It's not senseless fighting. I don't know. What's your point, though? What about it? Okay. People still getting killed, and there's lots of chaos, and people trying to get away from the fighting, and they're trying to escape and get into other countries. So what's your point?
Maybe they're aligning it to situations in other countries. I don't know. Perhaps they'll send another message.
This text, just what we said. The UN is peacekeepers, not an army. Exactly. This person says here, there has to be a connection between the increased lawlessness that we are seeing in this country and what? And what? And Haiti? Okay.
I think we have to take a step back, really, on that. We can't be blaming one part of society if we truly analyze what's going on in our society.
It could be that, but it also could be the video games that we're getting from the U.S. It could be all kinds of things.
So many different
the music, the movies, the way that people are socialized, all of these things. It's all of it.
The
and
increased
now
cost
what?
of living.
Yeah.
The fact that salaries can't keep up with the increased cost of living. The fact that persons need to take on multiple jobs if they can find them. The fact that there are persons inside the educational system that unfortunately are being failed by said system and are unable to get the qualifications to obtain jobs that can pay them properly. The lack of well-paying jobs inside this country, the lack of well-paying jobs to Bahamians inside this country. And let's not get started about how that is amplified again for our family islanders.
So it could be that, and it could be all the other things as well. It's a lot of things, a lot of issues. Wow. Okay. Well, this person says, well, that text is not correct. The two things happening in Haiti, a fight to depose Henri, yes, and the senseless violence, inclusive of the rapes, murders, and kidnappings. There's a lot. Gangs are fighting for territory as well. There's a lot that's happened. The president's been assassinated. That will destabilize even the most stable country, right? So it's a lot going on there. Yeah. Okay. Let's move on. We're going to pray for the people of Haiti, though. They get this, at least over this recent hurdle.
They need all the prayers.
Yeah. And we will see. We will see what happens with the rest of the world. Okay. The big headlines in the paper, though. What's going on with BPL? The unions are very worried about what the government's intentions are, and we're getting some very cryptic messages from the Prime Minister and the Minister of Energy and Transport about what's happening. They say it's going to save BPL, but the unions believe they are in jeopardy. For more on what's going on, we'll begin with what the unions are saying, and then we'll get to the statements from the Prime Minister. Take a listen to this report from our Vonique Toot.
Of the union, we could almost start counting our days if it was to go true.
Amid reports that the government is negotiating with local and international companies to enter into a public-private partnership to manage the transmission, distribution, and generation of electricity from BPL, union leaders say they have been left in the dark.
The biggest slap to the face is coming out of that MOU that was signed, right? We're supposed to be to the table to even ask these questions. And my thing is, where's the true transparency in terms of the RFPs and in terms of the agreements being brought forth through the true public procurement processes and the laws that govern the Bahamas? And so people are asking these questions. Where is the true transparency, and how did we even get to these companies? And so we, the unions, are saying, well, Even so, even after RFPs, even if they have gone through those processes, we still want to know what was proposed by these companies that you selected, even if you went through those processes. And so there's so much uncertainty, it's leading to absolute pandemonium now in BPL.
Leaders of BPL's managerial and line staff unions say they met with Energy Minister JoBeth Colby Davis last week when she made a PowerPoint presentation on the next 18 months of BPL with rollout expected in 3 months. However, Workers Union President Kyle Wilson and Union Vice President Antonio Dean say they have received nothing in black and white to present to their members.
Having nothing official or in black and white to take to the members, I cannot answer their questions. And so I almost feel naked as a union leader trying to address my people. And so based on rumors and based on all of these things and based on the fear factor now, people feel like a cornered dog right now.
You don't know where you will be or if you will be there. Mm-hmm. So the insecurity is, listen, it's more than overwhelming. You understand that you have panic in the air. People don't know what to do next.
President of the managerial union, Christopher Hanna, says during his meeting with some of his members, some of them were near tears.
But the burden of uncertainty is that I don't know if I'll still be in the company, because when you talk about these private companies and U.S. companies, a lot of these companies do live line work. In the Bahamas, our industrial agreement don't speak to no live line work. A lot of these companies work 12-hour shift and different shifts. My management contract don't speak to that. So a lot of people don't know how, when they are being seconded, how these things will line up with our contract. And I don't know what will happen to the older employees. And definitely anytime you have private companies in, they come into downsize.
Union members have hinted that they want to take action. However, union leaders say they are trying to follow due process and get more answers before it comes to that.
I have nothing but love for the Prime Minister. He's a great man. And we signed that MOU to protect us from situations like this. And so sometimes you feel like you jump with the frying pan straight into the volcano.
My members want some type of action. But we want to, like Carl said, we want to go through the process of reaching out to the minister to actually see what is in this document and how does it affect the union and the workers. Now, if we don't get that, then they'll be totally what the members call.
Reporting for the Guardian News Network, I'm Vonnie Toot.
Okay, so again, little information, but here's the official word from the politicians. So Prime Minister Davis on Twitter, I'm still calling it Twitter, refused to call it X. He said, quote, "I had the pleasure yesterday of meeting with President Kyle Wilson and executives of the Bahamas Electrical Workers Union and President Christopher Hanna and executives of the Bahamas Electrical Utility Managerial Union, along with Obie Ferguson, the president of the Trade Union Congress. I was grateful for the opportunity to assure them that as our government works to bring much-needed change to our energy sector, there will be no layoff of workers at Bahamas Power and Light. Industrial agreements will continue to be honored, and that commitments made to workers, including pension benefits, will be met. In fact, a critical element of our plans include the training and upskilling of many of our specialized line staff at BPL. Modernizing our electricity infrastructure is necessary to meet the goals of energy reform, lowering costs for families and businesses, increasing reliability, and using cleaner sources of energy." Let's read that again. A critical element of our plans includes the training and upskilling of many of our specialized line staff at BPL. Modernizing our electricity infrastructure is necessary to meet the goals of energy reform, lowering costs for families and businesses, increasing reliability, and using cleaner sources of energy. Investing in our BPL workers will mean that they are well positioned to thrive in this evolving energy landscape. As we move forward together, we are grateful to the leaders and workers of BEWU and BEMU for their expertise, hard work, and dedication. We are committed to consulting closely with them and with other stakeholders as we work toward a brighter energy future. What does that all mean? What does it mean?
I think that needs a breakdown sentence by sentence because I could see where some of the concern comes in. If you're saying that the investment will be made within the experienced or those with expertise at BPL, but that does not say that other persons may not be brought in.
Mm-hmm.
It does not say that.
Right.
So I'm wondering if there was a discussion with the folks who are concerned. Was that statement encompassing everything that they may have discussed, all of their concerns? Because I'm left with questions still, personally.
And wow. And then Minister of Energy and Transport JoBeth Colby Davis issued a statement saying Bahamians agree that big changes at BPL are long overdue. Our government's energy reform roadmap is a comprehensive plan to reduce prices for Bahamian families and businesses, increase reliability and efficiency, add cleaner sources of energy, upgrade and modernize our outdated grid, upskill and train Bahamian workers, and strengthen the financial position of BPL, which will remain a government-owned entity or utility. We're really looking forward to sharing important updates on these exciting and much-needed reforms in the coming days and weeks. Now, as a customer and as consumers, that all sounds fantastic, right? It really, really, really does sound good. Why the lack of specifics? That's a little scary, especially for the workers, I'm sure. But it really does sound wonderful. We all want that. Reduce prices for Bahamian families and businesses, increase reliability, my goodness, and efficiency, and cleaner sources of energy, of course.
But I'm wondering about the tone of it, though, because while those things, as a consumer, I would love to hear that, I'm wondering about the other side of the story, about those who are working at BPL. Because if they're breaking their backs day in and day out to try and keep our grid alive, which is outdated by how many decades, that almost sounds like the issues are completely internal, and they may be, but I think it's important to distinguish that it's not the persons, but it's the actual infrastructure itself. And I don't hear that in that message.
Yeah.
But perhaps that's just me.
All right. So after all of this, all the meetings over the weekend as well, the Electrical Workers Union issued an open letter to the Prime Minister. It's very long. I'm just going to read a part of it, though. I wish to thank you on behalf of the union officials that met with you at your office on Saturday, March 2nd. I reiterate our strong disagreement on the government's proposal to grant a contract or deal to foreign companies to manage, oversee, or maintain BPL and the Bahamian people's assets. This is one of many egregious decisions that successive governments have made that strips Bahamians of ownership opportunities and undermines job stability for Bahamians. Now, again, the government hasn't exactly come out and said all of that, but we're told great news is coming. All right, so this continues. I ask that you do what is right in accordance with the law and the spirit for the people of the Bahamas and stop this deal. I'm going to move forward a bit in this. It says, the unions are taking a stand against this decision for our children and children's children. Should you sign this contract, you are reassigning billions of dollars of real estate and resources to foreigners, as well as taking away jobs and opportunities for Bahamians. The Word of God warns us that he who does not work his land becomes a slave in it. Where is the government's plan for economic independence? This great little nation has produced among the highest levels of Olympians per capita in the world. We have a Bahamian astronaut, professional baseball players, NFL and NBA players. Our history is rich with Bahamians excelling around the world in every sport and discipline imaginable. As you aware, the most profitable years of BTC and BPL were led by Bahamians. They were also giant monopolies, but okay. When will excellence in performance by Bahamians earn us a place around the tables of opportunity for Bahamian-owned and expanded careers? Take note, Prime Minister, that it is these very unions that you are now placing at risk of implosion by these deals are the very ones that stood shoulder to shoulder with you, signing an MOU endorsing you for leadership. Is this the thanks we get? We call on your office and this government to stop these proposals and follow the letter and spirit of the law and show true transparency in the dealings of the assets and resources of the Bahamian people. Stop putting Bahamians last and stop treating Bahamians as second rate in the country of our birth. Some of the questions that lay on the mind of the people is, where is IRCA in all of this? Does this follow the letter and intent of the laws and various acts that govern BPL and the national assets? Thus far, it does not appear to do so, and no documentation to show the Bahamian people. We the people say cancel and stop this now. Okay, very interesting what we're hearing and not hearing. Let's get your reaction to all of this, though. Again, we're a lot of speculation because we don't know what's really happening here. But what say you on this? This is weird place to be in. You feel for the unions and the workers, although the government is saying that no one's going to. Did they say no one's going to lose their job? They're just saying it's going to remain a government entity, and that the deals will, whatever contracts that are in place with the industrial agreements will remain in place. Does it say that no one's going to lose it? Anyway, but let's hear from you. What do you think? 323-6232, 325-4316. 325-4259. Call us toll free, 242-300-5720. Although I must say, I mean, every time I say it, there's going to be a massive challenge. But I don't think my power's been off for the entire year so far. This is a record.
Knock on wood.
Right. When I go home, it'll be off till Thursday.
But then what is that a testament to, though?
This is, I don't know.
What is it a testament to? And then also, y'all know I love statistics, right? So what has changed to cause such improvement in the delivery?
2 months and 4 days. That's a record. It's a record.
Now, the true mark of whether this is consistency would be when summertime arrives.
Right. Now you're asking for too much.
No, listen, I have hope. I always have hope.
No, come on now. Let's be sensible. But anyway, this is a serious situation. Let's see what you have to say. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Good morning, Dwight.
Hi.
Good morning, Bahamas. Good morning, Miss Conrad.
Morning.
Hey, Dwight, going back to that previous caller who said they have companies who only hire illegal aliens, right? So if that
he didn't really say that. He didn't really say that. I mean, you could imply it could be implied, but he's saying that they're only hiring people of Haitian descent.
Okay, so if that company has, let's say a construction company, that person contract has a license, right? Okay, if they found that person hiring illegal workers, why they don't revoke his license and hit him in the fine or something, take his liability away from him? Because I understand people need work. Bahamians don't want to do some. They doing the work what a lot of Bahamians don't want to do. But you got to hit them in the pocket. If you find these people hiring illegal workers, take your livelihood away from them, and I believe it'll make a change. Because it's sad what goes on in Haiti. It's going to affect the Bahamas. Probably another 20 years. Your last name and my last name probably going to be extinct because everything will be all mixed up like salad. You know what I'm saying? And when these women come over here, they have babies. You got to you got to give them medical care and all that stuff. It's sad. The Bahamas is a small country. Big countries like France and the United States and those who messed up in the first place, they need to take the lead role. But Haiti is, like I said, the guy say Haiti is a lost cause. I don't think it's a lost cause. They just need to go in there and get the corruption out. You know what I'm saying? It starts with this. You know what I'm saying? That's all I have to say. Y'all have a good day and 242 for life.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. All right. Let's take another call. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Dwight.
Hi.
Good morning. Good morning to you guests and Ms. Cartwright and everyone else who's listening. Dwight, I always just ask you, sometimes our boys be inside the, what do you name, not Quincy, the next one, Chester. And when I asked you, I got the impression, right, and maybe you didn't intend for me to take it that way. You have no control of that. But, don't expect nothing from America. So I feel like America ain't doing their job. And it ain't just start, but it get voice with this new government. I don't know if the word what they use is autonomy. We have to let America be able to.
All right, so just remember now, I think you mean, you don't mean Chester. Thanks a lot. I think you mean Okay. You're talking about Juan McCartney. But yeah, the CEO is Carlton Smith.
Mm-hmm.
But they're the regulator. So they don't
I think what you're saying
control them. Right? The government is the government, and BPL-BEC is a government entity, right? So now they've made rules, and the government can go and change the rules, and then that would change what comes under IRCA's purview if that is necessary. So, I mean, they threw that in there to stir the pot on the union.
Wonder.
But I mean, IRCA, what is the regulator? They don't.
No,
they
what are they
can't
saying?
just like
What
can they do?
I want to know if we can, I might be a bit young. We're both, of a particular age, right? I'm wondering, how did it go down the BTC deal years ago, right? Mm-hmm. How did we react as a society for that? But further, right? How long did it take for us to actually get competition? Because if we're talking about essentially privatizing this is what this is coming off as if it's either management or we
that
don't
word
know the
is being
details.
thrown around.
Exactly, right? How long will it take for us to actually have competition? Is that the end goal, or so we're monetizing a necessary resource for our people without competition to persons externally? I'm wondering, and it's not, I'm sorry to say it like this, but I can be blunt. You could go without a telephone, You could go without a telephone. You can't go without electricity. Not for long. And mind you, there are persons who live without electricity because of their circumstances that they may not be able to change. But we need electricity to run the hospitals. We need electricity to run the necessary infrastructure that keeps us alive as a people. So I'm just wondering that if we are looking at these things, are we looking at the short-term goals? Are we looking at the long-term game? Like, are we thinking that far? Am I maybe just projecting too much into the future?
No, all of these are valid questions that people have about what's happening here, right? And it does sort of seem to come out of nowhere, right? I know that they were talking about reform, but we're not exactly either caught up or on the same page or even the same book with them.
So reform means that, are they throwing in the towel? We're trying to actually fix it on our own? Is that what's happening? Or is it that reform is impossible without external assistance? And that's okay to admit that you need external assistance to actually reform certain situations. But have we exhausted every single avenue? And obviously, if the union folks are not happy with this, that means, are we truly consulting them in the way that they should be consulted?
Yeah.
I mean, they know they're the ones who have kept that grid alive for decades. And mind you, I be sarcastic when I say, about the age thing, but I've been following this stuff since I was in high school, man.
Is this different
seriously.
from what was done before? We've been here before.
That's what I'm saying.
Power Secure, was that the company? Is this the same type situation, or what are we doing?
So you knew where I was going with this, right? You knew.
Right. So is
and then how many times,
is it that again?
If we actually look at it, and again, going back to Patelco and all that good stuff, like how many persons have we actually discussed that, those changes with? Because was it a clean deal at the beginning, and then was it a clean transition? And then what all happened with cable and wireless and all of those different companies that were involved? I mean, are we looking for that same thing or a similar thing to happen with our electricity? Like, I'm just concerned. And then on top of that, are we looking at the markets of availability for alternative energy and the accessibility of that to our public, to all? Do you know how expensive solar panels? Like, the average person can't afford those.
Yeah. Well, lots of questions. Let's see what these calls have. We have to take a break soon, but let's get these calls in as quickly as possible. Good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning. Pleasant good day to you guys.
Hi. Good morning.
To the BPL. My first thing, I mean, for the government, if you want to clear it up for the BM people, why don't you just lay the whole contract on the table? And if it's exactly what you're saying, and it's for the BM people, they shouldn't have a problem with everybody going through the contract. And secondly, like I say, man, I see why a lot of people have second doubts about the so-called contract law. Because you look around at places like Bahamas, we got so many foreigners working now. as simple as linemen and stuff like that. And you look around the country, say, try to tell me we can't produce enough linemen that we have to import workers to do lineman work for cable Bahamas. And I worked at places like Bahamas and Atlanta. And if you go in there now, there's a cleaning company. I'm not sure if the name is FCG or FMG, but it's 90% foreigners. So at the same time, all I'd like to say is I wish Bahamian people would think of each other as one instead of when you tell it hit your doorstep to fight for certain needs or stand for certain needs. Because if it benefit one, it should benefit all. And I think the Bahamian people should live with that. Guys, have a nice
okay,
day.
thank you very much. Appreciate it. Let's take this call. Good morning. You're on the air.
Hey, good morning, Dwight. And your co-host.
Hi.
Don't remember.
Deandra.
Deandra. And good morning.
We're doing well.
Yeah. Okay, great. Let's get the conversation. It's been a minute, Dwight. It's good to be on. But it seems as though the union thing, like an offer all over in areas that really don't come before the union. Quite frankly, I'm a Bahamian. I pay my well, right? I want the best for PL workers well. I want the best for all Bahamians out of us. However, when the government is negotiating a other really one of the entities, that doesn't come before the and until the level of discussions take place, which would impact the amount of the workers, right? In terms of, and as a matter of fact, you don't even know if the workers are going to be impacted. And so this whole conversation, it seems very contradictory by the union leader, right? I believe it would be more fair and it would make more sense if, and let me say this. I recall being at the press conference when the announcement was made, right, as it relates to the request for proposal. And I also recall Guardian had reported out there. As a matter of fact, I recall Travis speaking directly with Minister, the Honorable Joe Davis, right? And in all fairness, I believe it would make for much more common sense and intelligence if we will not, let me not say we, if you as the master of the Guardian Radio would have one of your reporters follow up with the minister to ask or ascertain the information necessary to bring to the people so that we could all be on the same page.
All right. Anton, I'm going to cut you right there because obviously you just tuned in. The articles this morning are people have been trying to reach the minister for days and many days. All the articles are saying that she's been unreachable for days. And the only thing we have from the minister is a statement that we just read. So, yeah, that's been happening. We'd love to hear from everybody on this. Come talk to us, have a press conference, or come on the shows, whatever you want to do, so that we all know what's happening here. Because we might be able to get on board. We might be able to. But there's just so many questions that people don't know what exactly is going on.
Know more, share more.
Yeah. All right. Let's see. Let me read a couple messages and we go to the break. I don't understand. And then, Anton, this is the thing. I mean, what you're saying, if we never heard from you before, people were like, oh, that sounds reasonable. But we know fully well that had this been the other administration, you would have been carrying on. You know this. We all know this. So this is the challenge that people have. So, this person says here, Dwight, I'm a union man, but at this point I want something new and different at BPL. We need something different. Tired of Bahamian slackness. New people needed. Does that new people mean a foreign entity? Is that what you mean? Good morning. The government had out a request for proposals for a couple weeks now. How many Bahamians applied to outsource the power to the government? BPL is in debt, and no Bahamian is willing to take that on. Another person says here, BPL is going to be another BTC if that agreement is approved. They cut the workforce by more than half. They outsource jobs to Jamaica and Panama, and the little children who they're now hiring, they come in as contract workers with little to no benefits. Meanwhile, the profits earned here get shipped overseas to their greedy shareholders. This person says here, we are stupid, Dwight. Who owns a monopoly and begs for competition? We are so stupid that we use the excuse of government not being able to run entities as reason to privatize our essential services. Yet that same government is in charge of the entire country. Talk about stupid. The government is us, and therefore every dollar government entities make belong to us. We need to stop being stupid and get more involved to hold our government accountable. We're truly dumber than conks. Well, I mean, that all sounds well and good if the monopoly is working properly. And I don't think there are very many people who would agree that this monopoly is working properly. Right? Again, lots of questions. Let's take a break. We'll be back. This is Morning Blend on a Monday morning. First Monday in March of 2024. Stay with us.
This is Guardian Radio, 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
I'm Karen Shamas, and these are the AP International News headlines. Turkey has joined Saudi Arabia, Egypt and Jordan to condemn Israeli forces shooting on Palestinians that were waiting for aid in northern Gaza. Israel said many of the dead were trampled in a crush for the food aid and that its troops only fired when they felt endangered by the crowd. Relatives and supporters of Alexei Navalny are bidding farewell to the opposition leader at a funeral in southeastern Moscow. On live-streamed footage, a crowd applauded and chanted his name as his coffin was taken out of the vehicle when it arrived at the church. Iran goes to the polls in its first parliamentary election since the nation's 2022 protests. Iranian officials have urged the public to vote, but polling stations in the country's capital, Tehran, appeared to see few voters. A fire at a mall in Bangladesh's capital has killed over 40 people. The fire started at a restaurant on the first floor of the mall. I'm Karen Shamas.
It is time for your first look at traffic for the morning, brought to you by RBC. Visit rbc.com/Caribbean for more information. Here's what's happening in our real-time traffic at this hour. As usual, Mile Butler Highway is one of your hot spots this morning. Heavy traffic from well south of the Fire Trail roundabout, well south of Bellet Road, all the way up to Tawny Williams Darling Highway. That's the northbound lanes there. You're going to be seeing some congestion on Carmichael as well, eastbound toward that junction with Mile Butler Highway. And that Faith Avenue area looking busy for you as well. Over on Gladstone Road, it is also busy from just north of Fire Trail straight up to the roundabout with Bahamas Boulevard. A bit of congestion on the John F. Kennedy Drive side, especially eastbound. You're backed up along Lake Cunningham. And JFK is busy for you as well, heading toward the roundabout with Prospect Ridge and Harold Road if you're heading northeastbound. Then we've got Independence Drive seeing some heavy traffic westbound as you approach the roundabout with Blue Hill Road. And Robinson Road is busy for you from the Soldier Road intersection with Prince Charles Drive straight through to Old Trail on the way to East-West Highway, Marathon Road. Marathon Road and Soldier Road northbound, both of them busy for you as you try to get through to Wolf Road. And Eastern Road, of course, heavy traffic for you from about San Souci to Johnson Road. and Prince Charles Drive near the major intersections. That's what we're seeing right now. That's your real-time traffic and your Morning Blend traffic report brought to you by RBC. Learn more at rbc.com/Caribbean. And time for another check of weather brought to you by Easy Car Sales. We've got surface to mid-level troughing across the northwest Bahamas combined with available moisture that's going to support shower and thunderstorm activity across the northwest and portions of the central Bahamas today, while a ridge of high pressure extending from the Atlantic across the area will maintain moderate to fresh breezes around the islands. For today, for the northwest and central Bahamas, partly cloudy, warm and humid with scattered showers and isolated thunderstorms through tonight. For the southeast Bahamas, variable cloudiness, warm and breezy conditions with a chance of a few isolated showers today. Mostly fair tonight with isolated showers and thunderstorms possible. Temperatures getting up to around 80 Fahrenheit, 27 Celsius. Overnight lows tonight getting down to 69 Fahrenheit, 20 Celsius. In your extended outlook, that troughing across the area will lift northwards away from the area through Tuesday, allowing for a reduction in shower and thunderstorm activity. High pressure will then dominate weather across the country through early Wednesday before a front moves into the northern Bahamas by Wednesday night. That's your Morning Blend weather check brought to you by Easy Car Sales. Easy Car Sales inviting you to an electrifying experience. Take an electric vehicle for a spin and discover the future driving today. There's an EV waiting for you at easy242.com.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
Welcome back to Morning Blend here on Guardian Radio 96.9. We are streaming live on GuardianTalkRadio.com and on the Guardian Radio app for your smart devices. We're also on your televisions on Cable Bahamas Channel 969 and BTC Flow Channel 612. You can tweet us at Morning Blend 969 or Facebook.com/Morning Blend 969. Text us on the Guardian Radio text line powered by BTC 4224796. And now at 8:23, time for another check of your weather for today, brought to you by Sherwin-Williams Paints. Here's what's happening. We've got surface to mid-level troughing across the northwest Bahamas, combined with available moisture. That's going to support shower and thunderstorm activity across the northwest and portions of the central Bahamas, while a ridge of high pressure extending from the Atlantic across the area will maintain moderate to fresh breezes around the islands today. So we've got a number of warnings. Boaters should exercise caution in Atlantic waters due to moderate northeast to easterly swells. There's also a threat for waterspout activity or funnel clouds, and a few isolated strong thunderstorms if possible. Beachgoers should exercise caution due to rough surf and the moderate risk of rip currents, mainly along East Coast beaches and Atlantic exposures. So for today, for the northwest and central Bahamas, partly cloudy, warm and humid with scattered showers and isolated thunderstorms. That will continue through tonight. Small craft caution in effect near shore, while an advisory is in effect for Atlantic exposures. For the southeast Bahamas, variable cloudiness, warm and breezy conditions expected with a chance of a few isolated showers. Today, mostly fair tonight with isolated showers possible. Small craft caution in effect for nearshore waters, but an advisory in effect for Atlantic exposures. Temperatures today. Right now in Nassau, it's about 76 degrees, mostly cloudy skies. We're looking at highs getting up to the low 80s, maybe around 80 Fahrenheit, 27 Celsius. Overnight lows tonight getting down about 69 Fahrenheit, 20 Celsius. In your extended outlook, that troughing across the area will lift northwards and away from the area through Tuesday, allowing for a reduction in shower and thunderstorm activity. High pressure will then once again dominate the weather across the country through early Wednesday before a front moves into the northern Bahamas by Wednesday night. So, for tomorrow, Tuesday, partly sunny, warm and a bit breezy with a chance of a few isolated showers during the day, mainly fair and mild at night. Wednesday, partly sunny and warm with a chance of a few isolated showers during the day, partly cloudy at night with a few isolated showers mainly across the northwest Bahamas. That's your morning blend weather check brought to you by Sherwin-Williams Paints. Sherwin-Williams Paints has got you covered for all of your painting and equipment needs. Visit Sherwin-Williams Paints online or in-store today. And at 8:26, time for the check of your traffic for this morning, brought to you by RBC. Visit rbc.com/Caribbean for more information. Again, we've got heavy traffic on Milo Butler Highway, well south of the Fire Trail roundabout, well south of Bellet Road. If you're heading northbound, straight up to Tawny Williams Darling Highway, traffic is backed up along Fire Trail as well, east and westbound as you approach that roundabout. And on the southern end of Milo Butler Highway near Carmichael Road, there's a bit of congestion on Carmichael, especially eastbound, especially from McKinney Drive straight up to Faith Avenue, actually. And that whole area looking congested for you this morning. Over on Gladstone Road, things have gotten better there, but the traffic is now backed up along JFK Drive. You know what's happening there. And so that if you're heading eastbound, you're going to be sitting along Lake Cunningham for a while. Heading eastbound and westbound, heavy traffic as well, especially near Theodore Lane as you approach the roundabout. Elsewhere, 6-second roundabout looking busy for you in multiple directions. Northbound, eastbound on JFK, southbound on New Providence Highway as well. And at Saunders Beach, a bit of congestion at the roundabout with New Providence Highway along West Bay Street, especially as you exit the roundabout heading eastbound towards Arawak Key. Westbound traffic on Carmichael also busy for you towards Coral Harbor Road. In eastern New Providence, you're still seeing heavy traffic on Eastern Road from just west of San Souci now to Johnson Road, and busy for you between Soldier and Old Trail on Robinson Road westbound. Those are your hot spots right now. That's your real-time traffic and your morning blend traffic alert brought to you by RBC. Learn more at rbc.com/Caribbean.
You've seen electric cars on the road, but isn't it time you drive one? Easy Car Sales invites you to experience the smooth, powerful ride and immerse yourself in the luxury and latest tech features. Find out why the Bahamas is going electric. Visit easy242.com and book your test drive now. What are you waiting for? Save money, drive smarter. There's an EV waiting for you at Easy Car Sales.
Every day in a busy world, we have to do so much. Bank with CIBC and get that personal touch. Share your ambitions, let us help your dreams come true. At CIBC, you're at the heart of all we do. We're on your side, we're listening, we know the way you feel. CIBC, ambitions made real.
If you're an onion lover, this one is for you. Wendy's is bringing layers and layers of flavor with the new Crispy Onion Cheeseburger. Each layer brings you to a new dimension, from the savory mayo to the light, crispy onions, followed by the rich caramelized onions on top of a fresh, never frozen beef patty. Try Wendy's new Crispy Onion Cheeseburger and let us know which layer is your favorite. Available for a limited time.
In 2023, over 9 million visitors came to the Bahamas. This year, we plan on shattering that record. That's why tourism is everyone's business.
Paradise is not only found in Nassau, but throughout our 16-island destination.
No matter who you are or what you do, we all have a part to play in our tourism industry.
This is our country.
These are our islands.
This is our home.
That's why tourism is everyone's business.
It's electric. You can't see it. It's electric. You gotta feel it. It's electric. Ooh, it's shocking. It's electric. Dig it up, Mr. Kelly with the bubbling technologies that moving like electric. She's all got the boogie. You gotta know it. It's electric. Woogie, woogie, woogie. That you can't hold it. It's electric. Woogie, woogie, woogie. But you know it's there. Here, there, and everywhere.
We are back here with Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strachan along with Deandra Cartwright. Coming up in a few minutes, we're going to change gears. We're going to talk about World Obesity Day. That's a big thing. Pardon the pun. But we're going to get into that this morning. And but we continue discussing BPL and what's happening there. The many questions that need to be answered about what the government's intentions are for the Electricity Corporation, and the unions urging the government to just stop all the deals, any deals with foreign entities, to possibly outsource the transmission, distribution, and generation systems at BPL.
Make the information public. Let's all get involved. How about that? Let's discuss the contract. We can be negotiators, Dwight. We can.
Well, I mean, we knew this was likely coming, right? The request for proposals was out there. But is the issue the fact that it's a possible foreign company that might have gotten the deal, or what? What is
Should
the
we do
issue
devil's advocate and question who internally do we have that could actually do it? Or are we saying now that those who are employed by BPL can maybe form their own company and say they can manage it? No?
Is that what you think?
I didn't say that.
Oh,
I didn't say that. You're not setting me up this morning. No.
That was what you're thinking there. All right, let's take these calls really quickly. You can call in 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259. Tweet us, Facebook us, text us, 422-4796. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Carly Davis back in a voice along with you and gorgeous Deandra, Dwight.
Okay, all right.
We need justice, law, and order in this country. Here it is, right? From the exception, we owned BPL, right? The thing is, a lot of people get on the radio and in the papers and herald about the situation with BPL, right? But the thing is, what they don't understand, most of those people were taking over or were coming a part of BPL, they get on the economic train. That's BPL belongs to the Bahamian people. And if the Prime Minister or whosoever would, outsource BPL, I don't see how they had not straightened that in the House of Assembly between the government and the opposition. Don't come in our face talking foolishness because it belongs to us. And the Bahamian people shouldn't allow it to be outsourced. You see what I'm saying? It's just dumb and stupid, and they think we are stupid, and nobody is standing up People need to stand up for their things. The Bahamas is theirs, is ours. And stand up, Bahamian. Don't give us that foolishness. If not, you will suffer. Okay? Other thing is, right, Dwight? Those bunch of dogs, right, in which the people talked about putting back on the street.
Wow.
The thing, say it again?
I mean, okay. You sure that's the way you want to phrase this?
Well, that's the way it sounds. That's the way
these are human beings.
The woman had heralded it.
Oh, you're talking about, okay. All right.
Say it again?
You're talking about the report. Okay, never mind. Continue.
The thing is, if you're going to take on a situation, right? You're supposed to plan and know how you're going to make how you're going to establish the thing and make it work. You see what I'm saying? It seems as everybody just want to come in this country and just ride the Bahamian people. The Bahamian people got to stand up. They're not begging for anything. They always owned their stuff. You know what I'm saying? They always own the Bahamas. And the way we go right now, everybody is just coming here, and some of the people that are here just want to take over because they see a gold mine. And the Bahamian people shouldn't allow that foolishness because we got to live here. Our children got to live here.
Okay.
Our great-grandchildren got to live here. They got to stop their foolishness because they are lawyers and, politicians and stuff like that.
All right, thanks a lot. You're confusing some of us, I'm sure. But I hear you. Okay, let's take these two really quickly. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Yes, I'm Dwight.
Hi.
Yeah, I didn't finish what I video. Okay, so the last 2 points of what I was trying to say. Can you hear me clearly?
Yeah, we can.
Okay. Was that I don't know what the opposition. I'm happy what happened in any event. I don't know what the opposition leader is talking about, right? But even you announced just now, coming out of your break, that yes, it was the request for proposal. But there it is, the opposition leader is spewing deliberate.
Well, I'm getting some clarification on this now. So the RFPs were for renewable energy proposals. Now, if we go from there to outsourcing transmission, distribution, generation systems, that's quite a leap. So that's quite something.
Okay, I would agree with that. But no. What I would also add is when the request for proposal went out, the minister made it clear was seeking to introduce clean fuel to the country, in addition to microgrids, right? Making it more independent, making it more reliable, making it more cost-effective. And so the minister did not just speak about microgrids as that request for proposal, nor did the Prime Minister. And all that information would have been played on Deadness, would have been played on People Bahamas, Guardian reporters, Tribune reporters, ACN.
Yeah, we get it. Sure. Okay, you don't have to name it.
The final point I want to make, Dwight.
But Anton, before we go, I mean, that's one. It's like asking for someone to bring you some candy and then ending up with a whole candy factory, right? So it's like this is like it's kind of strange.
Right. There again, I'm not going to contribute to any hysteria because that information has never been put into the public domain by the Minister of Energy nor by the Prime Minister. And so I'm not going to follow along with that suggestion because that's not based on any facts. But in any event, the final point that I want to make right is that BPL is a special creature because we don't manufacture anything that we require in order to produce energy or in order to sustain energy production or generation in this country. We are completely reliant in every which way, shape, and form. And no local organization or local company has within itself the capacity to even service the requirements of BPL without partnering with a respected, trusted, and known global entity. And that is the direction that we must move if we are going to advance BPL to the point where we have reliability, dependability, and affordability as the order of the day.
All right, we got
And so,
Anton. Let me ask you
together,
something.
Thanks for the opportunity.
Well, don't go yet, because even though you sound like you're calling from Mars or something, I don't know what's happening with your phone. But how did you feel about the BTC sale?
Now, see, that is why that is specifically why I said BPL is a different creature.
Oh, okay.
BTC on the other hand, we have the full capacity with BTC to continue on in the vein that the Vice President and the Chairman at the time, Mr. Roger Waters, was going to raise on it, which is that they're in a deficit, I think, $300 or $400 million, something of the sort, in order to get the fiber line connected between the Bahamas, running through our family islands, to Haiti, and I think to Cuba, right? So we have already begun to put the infrastructure in place, Dwight, in order to turn around and upgrade BTC. BTC was, unlike BPL, BTC was a performing government corporation. As a matter of fact, it was performing so well that many governments, successive governments, borrowed hundreds of millions of dollars from BTC. That's how well BTC was performing.
All right, thanks a lot, Anton. Thanks a lot. Also Monopoly, but and BEC around the time was performing very well as well. But monopolies, that's often how it works. One final call, then we got to go to break. Good morning, caller. You're on the air. Hi, good morning.
Yes, good morning, Dwight. Good morning, Ms. Cartwright.
Hi.
Johnson. Dwight, as you well, the most important aspect of any economy nowadays is energy. We talk about the various different economic models: digital economy, green economy, aquamarine economy, carbon economy, AI economy. All these different things requires energy. 92% of any digitalization requires energy. Now, let's just first put in place that we do have a government that is not for transparency, not for accountability, seemingly has no integrity, do not support anti-corruption, and we have verified fact that they are not for freedom of information. But for you to not have an open, strong discussion as to the way forward with the country, as to what happens next with energy, is just important as the digital infrastructure. It shows that the government has no regards for the future, and they are cemented in the past. Dwight, fixing BPL, and I've said this for almost a decade, requires that we surrender BPL to a sovereign wealth fund, a trust, where there's no interference from government. They could look to tackle the $2 billion in liability, that's both in legacy debt as well as the new infrastructure that is needed, and adopt technology that will bring us to sub 10 cents utilizing the various forms of technology and energy that's available today. This government is inadequately prepared to embrace the future. And what they're doing now with BPL is an ultimate attack on future behemoths and the competency of those that have developed BPL for decades, to the point where it is becoming, even with the deficiency of support from previous government. And I think this is a message to current and future behemoths that this Progressive Liberal Party administration have no desire to embrace the future and an act of inclusivity for behemoths to be involved. And I think we should collectively reject this deal with BPL and have an open, transparent conversation with the entire Bahamas, because it's an asset that belongs to all of us, and also be prepared to reject this government, because they are showing, as they said, what the thing said, when people show you who they are, believe it. Thank you so much.
Okay, all right, thanks a lot. We're going to leave that there. We may pick this up a little bit later in business, but we're going to take a break. When we come back, changing gears, we're talking about World Obesity Day. What do you need to know about it when we get back? This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9.
It's electric. Woogie, woogie, woogie. Chicken up with somebody, she's the chicken feeling jolly. She's a moving along with she's so good. Don't want to lose it. It's
Don't shop at Sherwin-Williams then. Don't get the best service in the Bahamas then.
The love is really, really strong in Sherwin-Williams. We don't just sell paint. We service you with a smile, good heart, mind, soul, and body. And we love our customers as much as we love ourselves. Yes, real talk. I'm not just saying this. real time, to impress myself. We love to go beyond with customer service. So they feel delighted to come in Sherwin-Williams because they know I can either see Dee Dee, or I can see Shelly, or one of our other wonderful staff members. We treat our customers with the respect of our boss because there are many paint companies they could choose to go to. No, baby. If they go to some other paint companies, so I gonna get this little thing at the end of the week.
We want to make sure you get that little ting, Shelley. Come visit Shelley and Dee Dee at Sherwin-Williams, Bahamas, and you'll surely find colour in every day.
At Simplified Lending, we've unscrambled the loan process, making it fast and hassle-free. Personal, business, medical. You apply, we'll reply in as little as 24 hours. Call us today at 603-1730 or stop by Simplified Lending in the R&D Plaza on JFK Drive. Simplified Lending for simplified living.
Simplified living for simplified living. Simplified living for simplified living.
Screws and Fasteners World, Balfour Avenue and Palm Beach Street, has those hard-to-find fasteners for you right now. You can find stainless steel regular hex, carriage bolts, galvanized bolts, threaded rods, nails, self-tap screws, sex bolts, anchor bolts, turnbuckles, masonry tools, hand tools, and weed whacker strings. Check out the rope selection and car body fasteners too. Special orders are welcome. It's your #1 fastener store. Screws and Fasteners World, Balfour Avenue and Palm Beach Streets. Call 326-1976.
Mommy, why can't dogs talk? Why do I have to go to school and you don't? Why do you sing in the morning when you're bad at it? Why don't you brush your teeth when you take me to school? Why doesn't it ever snow here? Why does Daddy take the bus to work? Why are trees so tall? Why don't you tell me where babies come from? Mommy, Mommy, Mommy!
We're like a kid that doesn't ask a million questions before noon. CG Atlantic Agents and Brokers. Good like that.
Every day in a busy world, we have to do so much. Bank with CIBC and get that personal touch. Share your ambitions, let us help your dreams come true. At CIBC, you're at the heart of all we do. We're on your side, we're listening, we know the way you feel. CIBC, ambitions made real.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
I feel all broke up, ain't sleep all night. My body's aching, no appetite. Scratchy throat, runny nose too. Got to see my doctor, it could be the flu. Oh doctor, doctor, I ain't doing good. If I got the flu, then that's understood. He said open your mouth wide, say ah. You've got all the symptoms of the flu thus far. I got the flu, I got the flu, I got the flu. Doctor, tell me what to do. I got the flu.
Welcome back to Morning Blend here on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strong with Deandra Cartwright. All right, so we're changing gears, and as we've been telling you, it is World Obesity Day. So that's what we're going to be talking about this morning. Very pleased to have with us in studio Dr. Jan Martin, weight loss management. We have Dr. Ariane Davis Simmons, endocrinologist. And we have, let's get this now, a bariatric surgeon. Everyone calls him Dr. Ranga, but Dr. Ranga, you tell us how you pronounce your names. We'll stick to Dr. Ranga, but just for the record, on the record, you say your full names.
Okay,
right into the mic there.
The full name?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, here we go. So my first name is Rangarajan. My second name is Muthukumaran.
Wow. Okay. And that's why everyone says Dr. Ranga.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, it's great to have you with us. I'm glad we got that on the record. Okay. So World Obesity Day, how long has this been going on? And why have a day like that?
Well, it's important for World Obesity Day. You know, we have World Diabetes Day, you know, different days for certain health conditions. And over the years, obesity has risen astronomically, you know, and it just keeps rising. And I think over the last 3 years, we've been, acknowledging World Obesity Day, one, because it's now a disease.
Wow.
The World Health Organization, the Centers for Disease, has now, recognized obesity as a disease because of its root, the root causes of obesity and the linkage of obesity to health conditions. So a lot of times persons are obese not because of the foods they're eating. Maybe it is because of some mechanical illness, some metabolic illness, maybe medication. But the World Federation, Obesity Federation, has designated World Obesity Day the 4th of March every year.
Wow.
And what we're acknowledging this year is that we want to increase awareness of the disease of obesity, because there are many persons who are being diagnosed as having overweight and obesity, and they're not being treated. Their condition isn't being treated the way it should be treated.
A lot of this is mental as well, right?
It's mental.
Yeah.
It's mental, it's metabolic, and it's mechanical. And when we talk about mechanical, we talk about back conditions, knee conditions, sleep apnea. When we talk about metabolic, we talk about prediabetes, type 2 diabetes, polycystic ovarian syndrome. And those are conditions that Dr. Davis Simmons are going to get into in more depth this morning. But it's important today for us to speak to the nation, because the obesity numbers continue to rise. And I just want to point out some numbers here. Now today we have 2 billion adults. These are people 18 years and older who are currently living with overweight. Now, overweight is persons with a BMI, body mass index, anywhere from 24.9 to 29.9. And obesity is a body mass index of 30 and above, and it goes in increments of 5. So if you have a body mass index of 35, then you're obesity class 1, and so on and so forth. Healthy body mass index is 18.5 to 24.9. So what is important for us to note is we have 2 billion adults who are living with overweight. And more important is we have 650 million people with a body mass index in excess of 30 who are obese. And when we talk about a body mass index, we have to understand that you may have someone with a body mass index of 30 or even 35, but that could just be muscle, like our bodybuilders. But when we have someone with a body mass index of 30 in the clinic at Doctor's Hospital that we run, we look at the fat percentage so that we could differentiate whether this is muscle or fat. And if a fat percentage is over a certain amount for an age, someone in an age group, and male and female, then we can determine that, yes, this body mass index matches the fat percentage. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and so we have 650 million people worldwide who are obese. But more than that, what is important to note is by 2030, we're going to have 1 in 5 women and 1 in 7 men who are obese in this world, meaning that 1 billion people globally will be obese.
My goodness.
That's in 6 years. More than that in the Bahamas.
I was going to say, do we have numbers for the Bahamas?
Yes, in the Bahamas, we have over 70% of our adults who are overweight and obese, and we have over 50% of our women who are obese. Men follow closely behind. Do you remember in 2014, we were ranked 6th in the world for obesity? That's 2014. These results are from the Living Survey set of work that was done among the young children, school-age children, and adults. So these results were 2019. In 2019, we're in 2024. And if the World Health Organization for the obesity, I see your eyes opening.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure. We've gone up?
In 2030, we're going to have 1 billion people, and we fit into that in the Bahamas. We are over 70%.
Yeah.
We have our children. What studies are showing is that the growth for overweight and obesity among our children is increasing over 100%, and we've seen that.
Right.
Just the other day, I had a pediatrician send me a 5-year-old. He's a pubescent child, and he is over 100 pounds.
Wow.
So what the World Obesity Group and Federation is focusing on this year is our youth, bringing our youth into the conversation because they're being stigmatized. I work with adolescents and I work with pubescent children and their families. The children are being stigmatized. So they're focusing on the youth, they're focusing on health, and they're focusing on what the environment, the role of the environment in this obesogenic culture that we live in.
Yeah.
And so I want Ariane to speak to the health aspect of what we're dealing with over the next couple of days.
Yeah. Wow. All right. So before we get to that, just want to ask you, you've been doing this a long time.
A long
Dr.
time.
Jan Martin. Are things improving, though? Are you seeing changes, or are we just getting bigger and bigger?
Well, the thing about it is, Dwight, it's improving in so much as that we have now the healthcare professionals who are studying and focusing on obesity, focusing on the health conditions that could lead to obesity or vice versa. So like Dr. Davis Simmons, she's an endocrinologist, but she also specializes in diabetes and obesity. We have other doctors and other healthcare professionals who are interested in focusing on certain areas, obesity. No, I have not seen a lot of improvement in the numbers in that they've gone decreased.
Right.
They have increased because they match these world obesity numbers. And that is why, we have to bring a clarion call to education, the fast food industry, the processed foods, the lack of movement. But maybe someone's not moving because they have some mechanical conditions, knee problems due to the overweight, back problems.
Yeah.
And the mental health is extremely important. So we have a lot of people who are selling food. That's good. I think COVID made all of us chefs, and that's a good thing. But then we don't know what people are putting in this food. We have a lot of persons doing outdoor fitness with large groups, but we don't know if we're working with someone who has a condition, who has type 2 diabetes or diabetes, and we overwork them and they become hypoglycemic. So these things are very important, and that's why we want to start the conversation. You mentioned it's mental health. What the World Obesity Federation is focusing on is that we need to only work with someone's mental health if you're trained in that area. My master's is in counseling and my PhD is in human behavior. And so when a patient sits in front of me, my goal is to not know what they're eating. Yes, I ask them that. And while they're offloading what they're eating, inside I'm thinking, now why is this person doing this to themselves? Why? What's going on in your life? What's going on where you feel like you have no control, but you have control over this pie in front of you.
Yeah.
You have control of this ice cream in front of you. Or I could pull right in here and grab, a Wendy's or a McDonald's. Even though I'm not hungry, I feel satisfied after. So, if you're not trained in that area, don't touch it because you can send somebody spiraling.
Yeah. Right. And that holistic approach seems to be very lacking around here.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. So I've seen improvement in that area, but with the numbers, they're just exponential.
Yeah.
And we have patients being diagnosed with obesity all the time, coming into the office, looking for quick fixes.
Dr. Ariane Davis Simmons. Okay, tell us about what an endocrinologist does before we get into. Get a little closer to that mic for us, please.
Endocrinologist is a hormone doctor or a gland doctor, and glands are organs that make hormone. So that is what my specialty is. And with that, diabetes falls under that, thyroid, adrenal conditions, ovaries, testicular issues, and obesity, because obesity is a chronic medical condition where there is excess fat, and fat cells are a endocrine organ. It makes hormones. And that's where you have a lot of the issues that happen with obesity, is that because of the excess fat, it's making more inflammation. It is leading to more metabolic issues, insulin resistance, and also the sheer weight of being excess weight can lead to mechanical issues. So that leads to obstructive sleep apnea. That leads to knee issues, and it could lead to fertility issues. So it has a lot of downstream effects.
All right. So what can lead to these? Is it genetic? Is it because of the food that you're eating that you develop these issues? Which one comes first?
It is multifactorial. It's not just one thing yet. So genetics does play a role. So obese individuals, 40 to about 60% of them will have some genetic background in an obesity, meaning family members would be obese. But just by having that increased risk does not make you obese, right? So it is then becomes, is it lifestyle? Are you sleeping appropriately, right? So lack of sleep, increased stress. Medications can add to obesity. So it's not one thing. And obviously diet and exercise, so lack of exercise, having high caloric foods, and excess calories leads to increasing fat. So it is definitely multifactorial. It's not one thing. Mental health definitely plays a role too. Some people eat or are driven to eat because of depression, anxiety, or they're even on medications for anxiety and depression, antipsychotics that lead to weight gain. So it's not just one thing.
Yeah. So if it is stress or your mental health that is impacting you, and those stressors are still there, what can you get out from under the path to obesity? I mean, how do you do this?
Yeah, definitely. So this is where we talk about obesity management really should be a team approach. It's not just one individual. So you should have a team, especially if you have a lifelong history of obesity where you've struggled for many years or even from adolescence and now you're an adult. So team approach would be you have a obesity physician, you would have a mental health professional, you have a nutritionist, you may have a wellness coach, and then for some individuals, they may need a bariatric surgeon for obesity surgery. So it definitely is not a one-size-fits-all type of management. Obesity management is tailored to the individual because a lot of people, it's a different factors that have led to this kind of struggle of obesity.
Sounds like a full-time job.
I'm wondering, though, while we would all like to have such a support system, and as you had mentioned earlier, doctor, that it's a mental thing, right? But I'm also wondering, does socioeconomics play a role in this, right? And then when you, doctor, are talking about the system that you require, not everybody will have access to these professionals, nor can they actually afford to see one doctor, let alone 4 or 5 of them to have that support system. And I think that's evident with why these numbers keep rising. So, I mean, what alternatives would exist? I assume that finding the information would be a first step. But are there other alternatives? Because I think there's quite a large number of Bahamians that are uninsured, that may be unable to access these options.
That's a very good question. And that's one of the areas that I look at, too, when persons sit in front of me the very first visit. Economics. It's a part of the social determinants of health. Are we able to pay for this course of treatment now that we have come to once you've finished telling me all of what's going on with you and we decide the way forward, where is the money going to come from? And like you said, there's a lot of persons who have lost jobs since COVID or before COVID and don't have insurance. We have persons who have insurance with limited benefits now. So yeah, that is a big issue. At Doctors Hospital, we have several avenues to help patients with payment plans. We started a program where it's a group session. So when you do have to pay out of pocket, you're sharing that cost with someone you would have brought alongside with you. Even though I'm seeing you individually, that person I would see you initially individually, but then that person you would bring alongside you. And so we, as your support, but they're also in the program with you. So there are cost factors that we're looking at Doctors Hospital where persons have discounted rates, especially with surgical options if they are extremely obese, and we see that they are going to progress to a bariatric surgery of some sort, then we send them to speak with finance and their payment plans. And so, yes, that is the key problem. In addition to that, we have persons say to me, well, I buy this fast food or I buy this type of food because it's cheaper than fruits or vegetables.
That was going to be my next comment right there, because if you look at the cost of fresh food as opposed to getting a meal, quote unquote, from one of these fast food places, the obvious option, not just for convenience, but for cost, is going to a fast food restaurant. Like, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, and it's and that's a conversation, and that is why we're having this conversation today. And I always have this conversation with patients, and I say to them, yes, it may appear as though you're spending more in the grocery store when you buy the fresh fruit and vegetables, but in the long run, it leads to prediabetes, diabetes, high blood pressure. In addition to that, when you stop to the fast food place, you might spend $10 on a salad or a sandwich with fries and a drink, but that's one meal.
Right.
If you go to the grocery store and you purchase cabbage and onions and sweet potatoes, which are on the lower end of the fresh vegetables, and you get a chicken, for instance, or some chops, that when you prepare that at home and portion it out in the correct portions we should have, then you may have 2 or 3 meals depending on how many people you feed in the home, and you would have spent less in the week if you're spending more than 10, 12. Sometimes I went to the other day I went to a restaurant and I ordered, they had lamb chops and potatoes and beans. That was $20. That was a meal for at least 3 days for one person, what they put in the plate.
But it's important what you just said, portioning. And as a Bahamian society, we don't know what that is. I had a conversation with somebody, I think last week. We were talking about what the correct portion of rice would be, and that it should be smaller than the palm of your hand, right?
That's
and we were
right.
like, that's not enough food for me.
Wow.
And I think we need to talk more about these realities. You can have the different choices, but it's really about the amount of food that you're eating. And what we had said earlier, I think, Dwight, you had mentioned about just eating when we don't need to eat.
And that's the mental side of it. That's, remember I said, while I'm taking that nutritional history, I'm thinking and I'm asking certain questions. I may interject and say, well, okay, what's going on in your life right now? How is work? How is home? So let's talk about that. And then I redirect the conversation from what you are eating to what's going on in your personal life now that is out of control. And sometimes people cry. They cry because somebody now is hearing them.
Yes.
They're being seen.
And that's very important, because it's the emotional component of what we're going through as people. I just wanted to note, we have Dr. Ranga here, and I have noticed amongst a lot of persons my age and older that they're leaving the country for these different options. And so it's great to actually hear that we have these options here at home. So I wonder if we can just talk a bit more about what you actually offer. Like, what do you do?
We're going to get right to that, Dr. Ranga, right after we break, just really quickly for a news update, and then we'll get to that when we come back. We're talking with Dr. Ranga, Dr. Martin, and Dr. Davis Simmons, all from Doctors Hospital on this World Obesity Day. We'll be right back. Stay with us.
Doctors Hospital has reimagined primary care. We have invested to improve our health system, ensuring that accessible, affordable, world-class clinical care is closer to you. We understand that your relationship with a primary care provider shapes the foundation of your overall health. Our new modern primary care facilities are where critical diagnoses and true personalized treatment begins. With locations across New Providence, Grand Bahama, and Exuma, we invite you to experience the Doctors Hospital difference. Book your next appointment at clinics.doctorshosp.com.
In 2023, over 9 million visitors came to the Bahamas. This year, we plan on shattering that record. That's why tourism is everyone's business.
Paradise is not only found in Nassau, but throughout our 16-island destination.
No matter who you are or what you do, we all have a part to play in our tourism industry.
This is our country.
These are our islands.
This is our home.
That's why tourism is everyone's business.
Struggling to repay your loan? Let us help you get back on track with payment terms that suits your financial situation and improve your credit score and credit report with the Bahamas Credit Bureau. Inquire about our restructured loans today. Call us at 356-7764.
Wherever you're headed, the Custom Computers Know-How team is standing by to help guide you in the East and the West. We now have 2 convenient locations on Patton Street in Palmdale and our newest store in the Caves Village Shopping Plaza through the Blake Road entrance. Discover the latest products by top international brands and the knowledge you need to unleash tomorrow's technology today. Drop by Custom Computers out east or out west. We're open Saturdays from 10 till 4.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
The views and opinions of the host and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the position of the management and staff of Guardian Network.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
Good morning and welcome to Morning Blend Business on this Monday, March 4th, 2024. Welcome back to our Morning Blend listeners. Once again, I'm Dwight Strawn along with Deandra Cartwright, and we continue our discussion about World Obesity Day. And we've got with us from Doctors Hospital, we've got Dr. Jan Martin, Dr. Ariane Davis Simmons, and Dr. Ranga. And we're talking about the challenges with weight loss in the country. All right, so before the break, we wanted to get to Dr. Ranga, bariatric surgeon. And this, I assume, would be in the worst case scenario when you should consider this, right? Or when should you consider bariatric surgery?
Yeah, so surgery, the indications are very specific, right? Two indications, basically. One is a BMI of 35 with any one comorbid condition. So when we talk about comorbid, it means diabetes or hypertension, sleep apnea, infertility, or there's a whole list of obesity-related conditions.
Right.
If you have a BMI of 35, with any one of those, you are an eligible candidate for surgery. That's the first indication. The second indication is if your BMI is above 40 or above, with or without any comorbid conditions, with or without, you become eligible for surgery. So these are the two conditions.
And here I can imagine those are very common.
It is very common.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
It's very common. But before the surgery, obviously, like you've heard all the discussions before with my colleagues. So before the surgery, all patients have to undergo the whole program with Dr. Martin and Dr. Simmons. This typically takes a few months, and some people several months. And at the end of it, the patient is what we call obviously they can't become normal for surgery, near normal. They tried, we tried to bring them near normal and then subject them to surgery.
All right, there are different types of surgeries, right? Tell us about those. How are they different?
Right. So first of all, there's surgery and there's non-surgical methods also, right? And the most common that we use is the gastric balloon, we call it, right? So that's the most basic procedure for the weight loss. And this is offered for patients who have a BMI between 30 and 35, ideally. But it can be stretched a little bit, but ideally 30 and 35. Because they don't fit the criteria for surgery.
Okay.
Because the BMI is too low for surgery. Yeah. But they're still obese. They're still not normal. So what do you do with those patients? So now we have this new technique called the gastric balloon. So it basically involves inserting a balloon made of silicone. It's a very tough, resistant material. And it's like a balloon, like any other balloon, or a ball maybe. It's about the size of like a grapefruit maybe, or slightly bigger than a tennis ball, for example, or
Right.
maybe like a grapefruit size. We insert it into the stomach using an endoscopy, anesthesia and all that. It's a minor procedure. It takes about half an hour to do.
Wow.
So it goes in, and the balloon sits in the stomach. So we place it there, we inflate it, and we leave it there for about 6 to 12 months, right? And then, and during that time, the weight loss happens because the since the balloon is sitting there, it occupies space, right? And it's heavy too. So the brain is fooled into thinking that you're always heavy, you're always full. Your stomach is heavy, you always feel full, and there's no appetite, right? And even if you have to eat or drink, it's going to be small quantities at each time, because again the balloon is sitting there occupying all the space, so there's not much space for food. So therefore the patient has less hunger and eats less, and because of these mechanisms, they lose weight over the 6 to 12 months, and after that I have to go back in, do another endoscopy, deflate the balloon, and get it out.
Okay, so after that time, has the mind changed, or
Exactly.
will you go back to the old habits with you?
Exactly. If you're not careful, that's the reason why we have the team.
Okay.
So even after the balloon, even before the balloon goes, and of course you have to meet Dr. Martin and talk about the whole diet and the mental issues. And after the balloon, also they have to keep following up with her, where she will make sure that you follow the protocol. But the trick is, after the balloon is removed, many patients don't come back.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because they think the treatment is done. I've lost my weight. Everything is fine. So the trick is to keep coming back.
Yeah.
And follow the protocol lifelong, literally, if you want to keep the weight down.
And those people who don't come back, you see them regaining
Sometimes
the weight?
they do
Yeah.
regain weight. In that case, we can actually go back in and do another balloon. Down the line, maybe a few years later, we can do another balloon, leave it in for another, all of that. Or if the BMI becomes more than 35 or 40, then we can offer surgery. So it all depends on how they progress. Yeah.
So there's no way you could leave the balloon indefinitely. That
No,
is not an
no,
option.
no.
All right. So if it does require surgery, what type of surgeries are
Yeah. So the surgery, the most common that we do is two types. One is the gastric sleeve, and the other is the bypass. These are the most common. There's many other procedures described, but those have more complications, and it's more drastic, and a lot of malabsorption and long-term complications and all of that. So quality of life is not. Even they lose the weight a lot of weight, but there's no point if you lose weight with a bad quality of life.
Right.
So the whole point is lost. So that's why many surgeons stop doing some of those drastic procedures. So the bypass and the gastric sleeve is the most common now. Yeah. Can I talk about the
Yes.
each? Yeah. Okay. Just briefly, So gastric sleeve is where that's the most basic surgery, most easy to do, simpler, good quality of life, cheaper, less time in the OR. So right now, that's the most popular procedure being done in the world. It
Okay.
used to be a bypass back in the day, but last, I think, 10 years or so, everybody's changed now worldwide because they've seen the gastric sleeve if you take all criteria put together, it's a nice procedure. So basically, it involves reducing the size of the stomach. Yeah, you must remember when I say stomach, it doesn't mean tummy. Tummy is like a layer. So stomach is a specific organ.
Right.
In the abdomen, right? It's not about, like people ask, is it do you remove the fat and this and this? It's none of that. That's just for cosmetics, yeah. This is not for cosmetics. This is for better health, for better life. So it's completely different from cosmetic surgery.
Right.
So that's one thing I need to explain. Yeah. So it's not about going and removing fat from here, fat from there, right? So the stomach itself is cut, and the size is reduced. Yeah. So we actually remove about 75 to 80% of the stomach is removed out of the body.
This is a permanent.
It's a permanent. We
solution,
disconnect it
yeah.
and cut it out and get it out.
Wow.
So you're now left with just 20 or 25% of the stomach that you already had before. Yeah. So this serves same as balloon, two purposes. One is, since the size is small, you can't eat much or drink much, and hunger is gone. Yeah, because the hunger, one of the mechanisms of hunger for all of us is because of some hormones that we have in the stomach that keep secreting, every 6 hours, whatever, and then we feel hunger and then we go eat. Now, when we remove the stomach, the hormone producing part of the stomach is also cut and removed. So the hormones don't get produced to tell the brain that you're hungry. So hunger is reduced, you can eat or drink less. So because of these two mechanisms, patients will lose weight.
And these are covered by insurance or?
No, just Atlantic Medical is the only one that covers this procedure.
Okay.
No other insurance covers it as of now.
And you have to prove that your health is at risk.
Yeah.
I can
of course,
imagine.
Of course, we have to go through the whole program. We all have to put in our paper, the notes and progress, and then they go through it and then they approve it.
Yeah.
Or disapprove, depending on the pay. Yeah.
Now, DeAndre was asking before the break about people who are going abroad for this, but still end up having to come back here. What are you seeing?
Yeah. So people they go abroad just for one reason. It's for cost, economy. It's a cost because it's much cheaper, obviously, to do it in third world countries. So it's a simple, easy fix. They go in and get it done. But even though it's cheaper, they do not follow the protocol that's laid out by the WHO that we follow and the rest of the world follows. Like before the procedure, you have to go through the whole, the counseling, like what Dr. Martin is saying, the nutrition, the mind, and then Dr. Simmons, and they spend a few months on this before they actually get to the procedure. And after the procedure, they have to keep following up with them to keep that thing going. So that's why it's a whole teamwork and it's a whole protocol involved.
Even if you do the sleeve, right? Yeah.
Yeah. But people who go abroad will not follow any of these things before the surgery, nor will they follow it after surgery. So it's just the surgery alone. They just go there, get it done one day, come back home the next day, end of story. And once you're done with the surgery, the hospital there is not bothered about you because you've gone back to your country. We have no idea what you're doing. I did surgery, I got my money, you're on your own now.
Right.
And then they get problems and they come to us. It's like this, I got vomiting, I got this, I got that, I don't, whatever, I got other complications and nobody told me what to do, we don't know what to do and this and this. And so they come to us and then, obviously we help them. We're not going to say, oh, you went to Mexico, so I'm not going to talk to you. We never do that. End of the day, it's a patient is a patient. And we are, as our duty is to take care of them,
right?
Even though they didn't get treated with you, but if they have a problem, that's the old Hippocratic oath and all that from back in the day. You have to treat them, whether you like it or not. And so we will take them on, and then we will do what we can do.
And weight loss issues, this is a lifetime, right? You're going to be dealing with this between the mental issues and the hormone issues forever.
So obesity is a chronic relapsing condition. It's a disease. So it's something that is lifelong because the body has what we call an adipostat set point, okay? This is why it's important never to get obese or overweight because the body's always trying to get back to that current weight, all right? So there's maladaptive mechanisms. So we talked about hunger hormones. We talk about metabolism. So when you are heavier, your body needs more calories to maintain that weight, meaning for breathing, organ function, heart function. When you lose weight, lose mass, that caloric intake you need to maintain goes down, right? Higher mass needs more calories, right? As you lose weight, the hunger hormones start coming up. I started that diet 3 weeks ago. I lost some weight. Now I'm obviously hungry. So these are what we call maladaptive mechanisms that the body does. I don't know if everyone remembers The Biggest Loser. Do you remember that show?
Yeah.
All right. All of those individuals regained the weight post-show, okay? All of them. And it's because of these maladaptive mechanisms. They got smaller, but as they lost weight, also their metabolism slowed, right? So they lost fat and muscle. Muscle is very important for your metabolism, how you burn calories, right? The amount of exercise they did slowed down, so some of them never got back to their initial starting weight, but they all regained weight. And some of them went on to have bariatric surgery. So it is this kind of recurrent thing. Not that you can't maintain the weight, but it's a constant effort that you need to do. All right? So in order to maintain the weight that you've lost, you have to put in the exercise.
Yeah.
You have to be getting in at least about 45 to 60 minutes a day to maintain that weight loss, because to continue a caloric restriction becomes hard. To get in less than 1,200 calories. So it is a recurrent thing. When you start to slack off, the weight comes back.
Absolutely.
So it's a constant effort, and you may need to continue with a team, continue with a nutrition check in, but it's something you have to be really mindful that it is really going to be a lifelong lifestyle change.
Wow. We were talking about this off air. Hollywood is raving about it. The Ozempic diet in quotation marks here, or Wegovy, all of these drugs that were initially for diabetes, but people have discovered the weight loss benefits there. Is this healthy? Is this the way to go?
So, this is a large portion of what I do in terms of obesity medical management. So the way these medications came about is they were initially diabetes medications. So they went through randomized control large trials, and what they found is that, yes, blood sugars were better controlled, but also these people were losing large amount of weight. All right, when we talk about metabolic disease and in terms of diabetes, obesity is the driving factor for 90% of individuals with diabetes. So you want to treat the obesity. All right, so with these companies, what they saw is that, okay, at the lower dose, we're losing some weight, but at the higher dose, we're losing more weight. So let's market this as an obesity medication. So they're FDA approved. So when we talk about Ozempic, we talk about Wegovy, we talk about Mounjaro. These are all FDA approved medications. At the lower dose, diabetes medication. At the highest dose, obesity medications, FDA approved. So do I believe in them? For some individuals, they need these medications as an add-on to the lifestyle, dietary change, behavioral modifications, okay? So they're an add-on. It is not a quick fix, okay? So you work on the lifestyle. If you are not meeting targets, so we're seeing within 3 months of lifestyle modification, decreased caloric intake, increasing exercise, if you don't lose about 6%, 5 to 7% of your body weight, then we can talk about adding these medications in. And for some individuals, these are a life changer because the medications work by suppressing the appetite. So remember I talked about those maladaptive mechanisms that happen in your body?
Right.
As soon as you start losing weight, those hunger hormones start coming on. This is why people yo-yo. I lost it, and then I started becoming so hungry I regained the weight. So it helps in that, so they're able to stick with the diet plan. Okay, so is it a healthy, unhealthy thing? No, I think it's actually a good thing because obesity is a gateway disease. It leads to multiple comorbidities, diabetes, heart disease, sleep apnea, which can lead to sudden cardiac death, fertility issues in women and in men, low testosterone, infertility in women. So it is a big issue. Solid cancers, colon cancer, prostate, that is tied, breast cancer tied to obesity, increased risk. So I think overall, it is a good thing if it allows people to maintain the weight loss.
So if you're trying to lose some weight before the big event in May or June, no.
Yeah, I don't look at it like that. I think it's not about an event. This is about your life, right? It is about long-term, effect and preventing long-term complications.
All right, this text here, we don't have too much time left, but this person's saying, this doesn't sound right. I lost 53 pounds from November 22nd to December 23rd just by changing what I eat, cutting out white sugar, bread, etc. Does that sound possible or healthy? 53 pounds in a month?
From November?
November 22nd to December 23rd.
I think those dates are wrong. That's unless you have an illness.
That can't be.
That's 55 is a lot.
That's quite a lot. Usually when I work with persons, even if they cut out, if they're just on a 1,200 calorie diet and they cut out the sugars, the maximum amount...
It's 1 year, right? Not 1 month.
No, 1 month.
Yeah, 1 month. The
1
maximum
month.
amount you could probably lose in a month is about 15 pounds, depending on your mass.
Now they're changing it. Okay.
10
they're
to
clarifying.
15.
Right. No, it's been a year.
Yeah.
They're changing it because that really.
Definitely.
Right. Now they're changing it.
The shock that was in this room to say 50 pounds in 1 month.
Oh, that's what they mean. November 2022 to December 2023. Ah, I thought you meant November 22nd through December 23rd.
So that's a year.
Right, yes,
Yeah,
that's what they
definitely.
Dr. Ranga, thanks for picking. But yeah, that's what they meant.
Yeah.
A year. Okay, yeah, well, that's,
definitely.
we can see that. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah. I worked with a gentleman during COVID, just before COVID. Dr. Diggers sent him to see me. He was a school teacher. He was nearly 500 pounds. We couldn't weigh him on any of the scales at the hospital. So I arranged for him to go somewhere at one of the grocery stores, and he got weighed. So we started off with a weigh. And that's the stigma. That's the stigma we're talking about. That's the mental health we're talking about. When he first came to me, he never really looked up. He always, he didn't allow me to measure him. So I arranged for him to go and get his weight. COVID came. I worked with him via Zoom and telephone. And he lived in an upstairs apartment. So he started cooking his food. He would send me photos. He started walking up and down the stairs. And after we came out of COVID, he was over 60 pounds weight loss. And within a year, he dropped over 100 pounds. Dr. Ranga was able to do his surgery.
Excellent.
He has since moved to Dubai and is teaching, and he has a new life. He sends Dr. Renga's pictures all of the time.
Fantastic.
His mental
That's
health
wonderful.
has been transformed.
I think he lost more than 200 pounds overall.
My goodness.
100 pounds because of Dr. Martin's work over the 1 year.
Right.
And then I did surgery, and then surgery made him lose another 100 odd pounds.
It's amazing.
So overall, he lost about 200 pounds. So it's a whole new person altogether.
Yeah.
It's literally the weight of an entire person.
Yes.
Yeah, it's like
Yes.
two humans and one human.
Yeah,
or
absolutely.
whatever. And he's young. He's like not even 30. He's like
Wow.
a really young guy, and not married and everything. So now his whole life is ahead of him, and he's having the best life. And he sends me pictures. He's on a camel. He's dressed like a sheikh, and
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Yeah, so his whole life changed. Yeah.
Let's take this call really quickly. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Yes, good morning. I know this one can make you smile inside. I read this black book. We mostly read it on Sundays, and in it says that broad is the path that leads to destruction, and I take that as being disease. And narrow is the path that leads to eternal life. I take that meaning a healthy life. Is it fair for me to assume that obesity or obese persons will have a hard time entering to the kingdom? Don't take that. Don't take that personal, literally, eh?
Wow. Okay. Any of our learned guests want to take that on? Okay. What? Anything special happening for World Obesity Day today, or going on for the next few weeks? What do you have planned?
Well, we don't have anything other than we have a program which we launched in January, like I mentioned earlier. Persons are coming in, they're being assessed, they have their initial visits, and they can enter into the program, which is a 3-month program, but they can stay in it for however long they desire. Prediabetes, diabetes, or just obesity in and of itself. Now, when we work with persons, if you are hypertensive and you're overweight or obese, then your meal plan is adjusted to eliminate salt or reduce salt.
Right.
So it fits into where you are at your assessment. So that is what we are pushing at Doctors Hospital, to come in, get your assessment, which you unfortunately you have to pay for. That's just the economics. And then after that, you join the group program, which we can work out discounts with you for. As it relates to the roots of obesity, I think we started this conversation, and if persons want us to come on their job sites to talk about obesity, talk about workplace wellness, how stress on the job plays into some factors of obesity, we are willing to come in and do that.
Wow, that's a big one. That's a big one there. But that's great stuff. That's great stuff. Contacts, how people can reach you all. What can you tell us?
Okay, so you can reach me at Doctors Hospital Centerville Medical Center. The cell phone is 816-7660. And you can reach Dr. Ariane Davis and Dr. Ranga.
Yep, so we're both at Doctors Hospital. You can reach us at Centerville Medical, which is 302-3250.
And 302-3257.
57. Okay, wonderful stuff. Great conversation with you all. Thank you so much for being with us this morning. Dr. Jan Martin, Dr. Ariane Davis Simmons, and Dr. Ranga. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And I don't know if that's what you say, but we're Happy World Obesity Day? Do you say that?
Well, it's just let's get the conversation going. And,
even worse would be to say same to you.
Right. There you go. Thank you so much. And we need to have this conversation more than just on World Obesity Day.
Yeah.
So we hope we'll talk with you again very soon.
And we'll come in.
Excellent.
Do that. Thank you for having us.
Thank you very much. All right, we're going to keep this going. When we come back, we're going to tell you about an event that'll get you moving this weekend, Pop's Island Move, coming up in just a few days. We'll get all the details about that in just a few minutes. Stay with us. This is Morning Blend Business on Guardian Radio 96.9.
Don't be mad. You know what old folks are saying. Little pin them just hard. I can pray hard. I can pray hard. When trouble come, boy, I can stay far. Oh, I can pray hard. I can pray hard. I can drop on my knees before the problems start. I try my best to live like a righteous man. I try to read my scriptures, chant a couple psalms. I won't be like Solomon, lead a better life. Give me some wisdom and have a couple wife. I can pray hard. I can pray hard. I trying to live good cause I once was bad. Oh, I can pray hard.
Beulah, gal, can you believe this? We are now the patrol queens of the neighborhood. We now large and in charge. So we need to check out what's going on in everybody's yard. What about that gun that we know that Junior and his homeboys just ran out? Can we report that too? Of course we can. But we could be in deep trouble if they find out. We need to report what we see, Beulah. When you call Crime Stoppers, they just answer your call in Miami. So then we can report everything? Guns, where they hiding the drugs, who shoot who part of which gang, or who disturbing the peace with the loud music and the motorcycles. Then our neighborhood will be the best in the Bahamas, and everybody gonna want to come live here. And then our house price will go up, gal. So what we waiting on? What's the number?
If you see something, say something. Let us all pitch in and stop the crime before it's your time. Call 328-8477 from Nassau or 242-300-8477 from the Family Islands. Or text us through the Crack Crime Bahamas app. Stop the crime before it's your time.
Struggling to repay your loan? Let us help you get back on track with payment terms that suits your financial situation and improve your credit score and credit report with the Bahamas Credit Bureau. Inquire about our restructured loans today. Call us at 356-7764.
Life is unpredictable, so when the unexpected pops up and you need cash fast, you can handle it in easy-to-manage bite-sized payments with a cash advance from Scotia Select Pay. With Scotia Select Pay, you can take a lower-interest cash advance on your Scotia credit card in 3, 6, 9, or 12 monthly bite-sized payments. When the unforeseen strikes, trust a cash advance from Scotia Select Pay, the new, easy, and useful way to get cash now and pay later in convenient bite-sized payments that won't break your budget. Try it now on the Scotia mobile app or via Scotia online.
You've heard of electric cars. Now it's time you drive one. Easy Car Sales welcomes you to experience the power and prestige of the latest electric vehicles. Plug in at home for a 65% discount off your gas bill and never get stuck at the pump again. Build your dreams of a better future with a better car, the BYD EV. Visit easy242.com to book your free test drive today. Save your money while driving in style, only at Easy Car Sales.
Tired of banks forcing you to use technology to bank the way they want you to? Your convenience is important. So no matter what your banking needs, Commonwealth Bank's friendly staff are always available in branch for that personal one-on-one service. But when you choose technology, our online and mobile banking app offers you state-of-the-art functionality. The choice is yours. Commonwealth Bank. Bank the way you want.
Always on the go? Missed the show? You can now listen to Guardian Radio talk shows anytime, anywhere on Spotify and YouTube by searching Guardian Radio 96.9 FM or by entering the name of your favorite show. You can also listen by logging on to GuardianTalkRadio.com and clicking on the podcast tab. Guardian Radio, continuing to provide you with fresh news and smart talk anywhere, anytime, all day.
To all homeowners, this is your reminder that Scotiabank encourages all taxpayers to sell outstanding real property taxes before March 31st, 2024. We want to ensure that you're up to date on all tax obligations. Failure to comply may affect your monthly mortgage payments and the total balance owing under your mortgage. We invite you to contact the RPT office of the Department of Inland Revenue or your nearest branch or bank officer if you require additional information or assistance. Stay on top of your taxes with Scotiabank.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
Yes! Come on! Rick and scrap time, come on! Woo! Bohemian culture! Every Andrew's Craft Fest, they deserve contest. Out of all the island people, them who could dance the best. Now you know, I forgot, I just need something fat, something built like a truck, something that I could rub. People came from Haiti Day, they came from the rocks, they came from Cooperstown, some gal from the block. We ain't got to know bogle.
We are back here with Morning Blend Business on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strachan along with DeAndre Cartwright. Again, it's World Obesity Day, and this is just a coincidence that we are going to be talking about a big event this weekend, Pop's Island Move. The 5K run walk this Saturday, right? March 9th. Here to tell us all about this, we have Pops, Mikey Daves, and we have Marcel Major as well from Four Seasons Race Management. Great to have you with us. Good morning, Marcel. Always a pleasure. Great to have you back.
Indeed, it is. Good morning, Bahamas. Good morning, running world. Good morning, Miss Teresa Major.
All right, so you got to get that in. You got to get that in.
Happy wife, happy life.
All right, Mikey Daves, Pops. How did you're telling us off, you're about to tell us how you got this nickname Pops.
It's kind of funny, to be honest. I was about 3 years old. I never, my entire life I've been called Pops.
From you were 3?
Yeah, there's a way to tell how somebody knows me. If they call me Michael, they don't know me at all.
Oh, wow.
They call me Mikey, they're a friend, or they've grown up with me.
Okay.
They call me Pops, that's my family. My entire family calls me Pops from when I was 3 because I have an extremely big head. And it came along with me. And if you ask my mother, I was born with this head this size.
Oh, dear.
As a result, I always was kind of like the bully of the family. I had 2 older brothers, 2 younger sisters, and I always was the one kind of organizing everybody and keeping everybody in order, and Mom would give directions to me for everybody else. So it kind of went this one's like the Pops of the family. So they started calling it stuck. I don't even know how it stuck.
3.
So everybody calls me Pops. And then ironically, I've got grandkids, and there was a debate about what to call me until one of the kids said,
Pops.
We've been calling them Pops all their life, so we go with that.
Okay, all right. Well, hey, that's a great story. You were destined for greatness.
I thank you.
From
I
you
think
were 3, they can see that.
I presume so.
I guess. Wow.
I bow to the wisdom of my elders and ancestors.
Okay. All right. So how did this come about? This is the first one, right?
Yes,
Pops
it is.
Island Move.
A couple of reasons. First of all, I literally just started getting active as a runner. I've always been in some version of fitness training. But last year at 56, I started running with my bad knees on the beach. But later on in the year, I realized, I needed to step up my game, so I decided to start doing 5Ks. That's how I cottoned on to Bop and his crew at Four Seasons Race Management. So I'm running a 5K, and then I realized, wait a minute, my birthday's falling on a Saturday, March the 9th.
Okay.
This was in September. And I said, hey, this is a great opportunity for me to organize my own race, not having a clue how much was involved.
Right.
There are a ton of moving parts to a race.
Yeah.
People, they come, they line up, they go take off, they have a great time, they go to the race village, and they don't realize how many things had to come together to make it happen. I'm glad I did it. And then the impetus behind the Sickle Cell Association being our charity is the fact that my entire adult life, my entire life as a parent, has been dominated by the disease. My eldest daughter had sickle cell. As a matter of fact, is currently hospitalized,
Oh my goodness.
having an episode with it. And she's been dealing with that her entire life. So for me, it was a no-brainer for us to support that. I mean, there are other diseases within my family, hypertension, diabetes, and all the rest of it. Most of them get a lot of traction in terms of support. Sickle cell, not so much. So I pulled it all together. I love practical gifts for my birthday. The tie and the cologne went out of the window years ago. I like stuff that I'm actually going to use and enjoy. And I threw this idea out, and my kids went, what is Daddy on this time? But then turned right around and got on board to support. So my kids, all of the social media and all of the organization was actually done by my kids. And in fact, this is the biggest joke. The one who's in the hospital right now, the eldest one, Mickey, is the chief organizer. Because you know that old saying that the oldest child thinks they're the family manager? She actually
knows.
She actually is the family manager.
Right.
So a lot of the work is actually, she's been doing it from the hospital to organize the race. So in spite of her own challenges, she's also been extremely supportive of my efforts to, another one of my harebrained schemes.
Yeah. Well, this is wonderful. Okay. So this is not going to be a one-time thing, though.
No. I anticipate this to go on, and hopefully long after me, that they could use this as an inspiration to continue to support sickle cell and sickle cell disease. Because even though there's some drugs out there to help, and there's even a cure, I think, out there. I want a little more research done on that, as well as it's a continuing effort. Because the irony of it, she was 3 years old before we found out that she had sickle cell. And as a person of color, in my opinion, it should have been screened immediately.
Yes,
On
particularly
a
as persons of color are more likely to have the trait.
They're the only ones that do.
Exactly.
And even for my kids, one of the things that I've got kids that are older now that are starting to have kids and get into relationships of that nature.
Right.
It's very important that they know if their partner has the trait, because that exponentially increases the possibility of the child having full-blown sickle cell disease. And trust me, I have been in hospitals with my daughter too many times to count, more times than I like to mention. And it is a hostile disease. It's pernicious. It's vicious. It's painful for the child, and extremely difficult on the parent or the caregiver. I'm not taking away from any of the other parents that are dealing with other diseases, because I just know how tough it is to be a parent with a sick child. And there's nothing you could do about it. There's no magic wand, there's no magic pill, there's no magic anything that you could do. They just go through the process. And as she matures through her lifetime, we're finding that she's having other challenges that are created by the disease. So I wanted to make sure that us as a family, me as an individual, support sickle cell in particular.
Yeah, as you said, not getting enough attention at all in this country. All right, so likely this will be every year around your birthday? Yep.
Yes, as close to my birthday as we could get it. And now that I'm part of the running community, I'm going to make it very, very runner-friendly. But what we want to encourage, though, because the runners are the runners of the runners. They're going to run.
Right.
Whether I have a race or I don't have a race, or Bob has a race or doesn't have a race, they run it. Rain or shine. What we want to encourage is people who are afraid to just step up to the line and go for a walk because they think that it's highly competitive. This first race is not extremely competitive. What we want is to encourage as many people to come out. Just do it. Because if you start, you will find how cathartic it is, and you'll continue in it. And it's extreme. You just had the doctors on and talking about obesity. And one of the first places people start when it comes to tackling weight issues is start walking, start moving. And as a matter of fact, if you look at our catchphrase, movement is medicine, right? My friend.
Yeah, excellent.
And that's been known by civilizations ages older than us, that movement is important. Movement is medicine.
Even for mental clarity, right? It's amazing.
Exactly.
Very, very therapeutic.
Yeah. And I jokingly say like this, that what goal could you possibly have in this lifetime, from the time you're a kid to the time you're an adult, where health isn't a critical component of achieving that goal? Even if you can sit down to achieve that goal, you need to be healthy to do it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. So, Marcel, Bob Major, we look like we are heading to every weekend. There's a big event, a big 5K of some kind or even bigger, right?
It seems that way.
And that's a good thing.
That's a good thing for us.
Yeah.
We're very grateful, but boy, it can be taxing.
Yeah.
These events are difficult to put on. Like,
No lie.
Mikey was saying that there are many, many moving parts. The logistical component of these events is unimaginable. So we're grateful. Luckily, I was able to study to be able to really know how to pull them off. So having that Roadrunners Club of America Race Director certification has helped me out tremendously. Because without that, I mean, I knew a lot of for planning them as the immediate past president of the Bahamas Roadmasters Running Club. But to the extent that I learned how to really pull them off, all the moving parts, all the logistical parts from studying, it was an amazing accomplishment, which I'm glad that I ended up doing because it makes what I'm doing much more rewarding, much more easier, and it just feels like I'm just doing another event now that I've already done so many.
Yeah.
You
I'm
know?
just curious. Do you think does the Bahamas make it more challenging than maybe in some other places? What do you?
It's a bit, especially for the running community here. We seem to be so last minute. I mean, and so when you're planning an event, you don't really know how much to plan for, because you say you may want 250. You buy 250 merchandise, and you end up with 100 people because everybody registered at the last minute.
And then you go to the next race, you buy for 100, and 300 show up.
So you really, it's like a give and take, a weighing and balancing type of thing. But it usually works itself out because what most persons do is they don't date their products. So they could use them another year, just change one or two little things of them. But yeah, it's challenging. What we would like to do is to get the running community more aware of, like you say, movement is medicine. Be a part. Let it be. Like I have a friend that does a race every weekend. I said, why are you sponsored to go on all this? He said, you know what? This is my vice. That's how people go to the weekend, go to the disco and party every weekend. Yeah. I look forward to a race. Yeah. This is where I get my, this is how I, I get my feel good vibes.
Right.
So I would like to encourage a lot of people.
That's
quite honestly.
Use it as your vice.
Direction.
That's
Because
people going to the clubs, the pubs every Friday, rain or shine.
I got people who look for the next race to run every week.
My family knows every Saturday, God sends. If there is a 5K, I am going to be there. They know this.
Nice.
And quite a few of them have actually been managed by you, Bob. And we just had one this past Saturday with the Alzheimer's Association that you all perfectly met. It was raining. And these people, you all were able to manage a race
in the rain.
Yes. And it's the second time that they've done it in a couple of months. And it's like, it was an enjoyable race.
Yes. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
One of the things that I find most interesting from Bob's point of view, because I've done a lot of his events too, is he stands on the line, gives very clear instructions.
Yes.
And then a whole bunch of people don't follow it.
That's true. Were you there at the Cancer Society walk a couple months ago? Because I'm like, he didn't say to do that, and what are you doing?
They said which side to go up, and they said which side to come back, and we're heading out, and all of a sudden people coming straight at you, and you're going, dude, he said go.
How do you do with that? When I do make the note, I say, am I clear? Do I need to repeat myself?
Like,
we got it.
No, it's because it's so early. I haven't had coffee yet.
So at least I have another witness that on every single race, I don't care how you line it up, you tell them
people don't.
Like,
they're going to do their own thing.
They do their own thing.
Marathon Bahamas had me like that because honestly, because they had the 5K on the same day as the half and the main marathon, and I'm coming up after finishing like 7 miles. I still have another 7 to go through because they made it so much.
Right.
And the 5K people are in my lane. I'm trying to survive, and they're in my and they're coming at me.
And they don't care. They don't even go the way.
They're not moving. They're strolling. And I'm like, guys.
What we try to do is, for the Four Seasons race man, what we try to do, we try to pattern our race after international standards. Because both my wife and I, we are experienced runners from international events. So every time we go to an event, we look at the way that they do things, and we say, okay, yeah, we can pull that and pull this and pull that to make our events a perfect event, as close to perfect as possible. So we just want to encourage people, because if you're running internationally, you have to register at a certain time. If that event is next year, May, that event would open a registration like now and close that around September or June of this year.
Whoa.
So they know how many T-shirts, how many medals, because they've already opened and closed the registration, which is what we're trying to encourage and educate the running community over here to do. Register early, to avoid us having to get all this merchandise and stuff.
All right, so the event is Saturday. So when do you want people to register by?
We need them to register right away. We're going to keep registration open until Thursday, Friday, but ideally we want you to register early enough that we can manage the merchandise. Because what I don't want is someone to register last minute and we don't have anything left for them.
Right.
So for your own benefit, if you're going to participate, because we got some really cool gifts in our bag, you want to register early so you can get those cool gifts, or you're going to get a very warm smile from me. And
thank you for participating.
Thank you for participating.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. All right, so tell us the route really quickly, and then we'll get the details about how to register.
The route is going to follow the same one that Bob used for Jungle Jingle, which is Western Esplanade. We travel east on Bay Street to
Commonwealth Bank.
all the way down to
Rubis.
which is a
Turning
Lands
point.
and Surveys, Crown Lands.
Yeah.
We turn around at that point and come back to Western Esplanade. This is all going to happen on the northern side, the northern lane of Bay Street. So what we want everybody to do is to stay on the left. As you go down, stay on the left, and as you come back, stay on your left. We're going to have the stretch coned out.
Okay.
So you'll keep the cones on your left as you're returning. That way you leave the room for faster runners if they start a little bit later, who will go by the walkers and head back. So it keeps it orderly and keeps it nice and neat.
Okay. And what time does it start?
It starts at 6 a.m.
Sharp.
We are
No
going to
Bohemian
start
time.
sharp. And we have a few spots left for vendors in the race village. They can go on popsislandmove.com and sign up there. Also, if you are wanting to register, you can go on any one of the social media platforms, popsislandmove.com, Pops Island Move at Instagram and Facebook, or at Four Seasons Race Management, and you will get the link to sign up. If you're having any difficulty signing up online, or in the case of signing up online, you need a debit or credit card and you want to do it differently, you can direct message us on any one of the platforms or call us at 827-5509.
Packet pickup.
The packet pickup is going to be Friday at the Race Village, which is on the Western Esplanade.
Opposite Zarvias. On the top level, opposite Zarvias.
On the section opposite, the entrance opposite Zarvias.
Right.
Or road traffic.
And how much is it?
It's $30 for adults, $15 for kids.
And so anybody from 5 and up can take part.
5 and up.
Okay.
5 and up. And if you don't mind, I'd like to mention our partners.
Sure.
Because we had quite a few people partner up with us to assist with getting the race. Because like I said, the race involves a lot more than meets the eye.
Yeah.
And we got quite a few partners that I got to mention. We have 9 to 5 Import, Export, Albany, Bahamas, ARM Bottling Supplies, Quality Home Center, Crystal Select Water, Four Seasons, but the Crane Company. Four Seasons Crane.
Okay.
Those are the cleanest and neatest cranes you ever see on the road.
Okay.
Mark's Towing. Pedal Paradise is a pedal company, but they're actually doing the drone footage for us for the race.
Okay.
So that's one of our partners there. And of course, it's Four Seasons Race Management. But I also want to mention that every single one of my kids has an entrepreneurial vibe. Those companies are also sponsoring the event. Me and my wife's business is the corn roaster. We do the roasted corn, the wings, and rice. That's actually going to be at the race village.
I was just going to ask because I've been craving roasted corn.
To all the people who may doubt, there will be roasted corn in the race village at the end of the race.
Cash only card? What are we using in a race village?
Or samplers.
Sorry.
Samples or are we?
Oh no, you're going to
Cash
get
card?
a corn. No. These for all of the participants, you're going to get a corn. If you want it.
Wow.
That's cool.
I cannot wait.
I'm dead serious.
Roasted corn.
That's amazing.
So the corn roaster, the main vegan is a truck that we're coming out with this year. This is strictly a vegan truck.
Okay.
Hallelujah.
Mickey's Table Mickey is my eldest daughter, who is the sickler.
Right.
Yes.
Mickey Stable, she has a social media presence. You could look it up. Soldier is my son. He's into music, entertainment. And Wild Sugar Cane Company is also a family business. My second daughter's a writer. She did all of the script for all of our social media and all of... So it's a true family affair. Everybody.
Excellent.
All right. And lastly, I want to mention a company called Element, LMNT. They do a sports
supplement,
the electrolyte drink. They're a company out of New York. They're getting a lot of traction in the running community. We approached them, and they were like, the Bahamas, sign us up.
Yeah.
And they signed up. So we got them on board. So it's going to be quite an interesting race.
Okay.
The race packets are going to be solid. The race village is going to be solid. And
Will
all
there
the
be
participants.
medals?
Yes, everybody is. every participant will get
The
a
bling,
medal.
on the things.
Gotta ask the hardware.
I will get your hardware. I will say this though, what we're not doing is the regular trophies. Everything that is going to be a prize for first, second, and third is going to be of Bahamian hands. We're doing Bahamian artwork, Bahamian jewelry, Bahamian items for the places.
That's amazing.
It's a personal thing.
Yeah.
A lot of people, the trophy thing kind of getting stale.
Yeah.
So we wanted to give
Dust
a real keepsake.
Nice.
A real
Very nice.
keepsake.
Conversation of
It's going to be a fun race.
This is going to be great. Mickey Danes, Pops,
Thank you.
and Marcel Major.
Yes, sir.
Bop.
Yes.
Bop. Hey, Bop and Pop.
Bob and Bob's.
Pops Island Move this Saturday is going to be a great time. And it sounds like it's going to be a wonderful annual event.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's just going to get bigger.
Yeah.
It's just going to get
Great
bigger.
stuff. Great stuff.
We already have thoughts for next year.
That sounds good.
Great.
Keep us posted. And I know Bop is going to be back.
Yes.
Many times.
Many times.
Over the next few months.
52 times a year. Every Saturday.
Right. Guys, thank you so much for being here with us this morning.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having
Thanks
us.
for having
I
us.
really
Yeah.
appreciate your
Have a good day.
support.
Pleasure.
Thank you.
Pleasure. Deandra, thank you for being here.
Well, thank you
I'll
for
see
being
you
here,
next
Dwight.
week. And hey, it's going to be a big